You recording?
I am recording.
Perfect. I forgot to tell you 10 seconds earlier.
Thank you.
Hey, we have 10
really
seconds
close.
to work on live.
Shit.
Don't forget to record.
Get the dogs. Get the dogs. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Cloak and Stagger. I am your DM, Moose. We are continuing our Rime of the Frost Maiden campaign. As usual, with us, we have Sucinda, Wilzu, Sandy, and Aramil. How you guys doing tonight?
Good. Excited?
You excited?
Very.
Why are you excited?
Level 5. It's a big level. And I've got tools to make life better.
Ooh. Hell
Level
yeah.
5 going into session 25.
This is episode 25. We're at a quarter of 100.
5 squared.
I got like a year and a half to go.
Yeah. We're making good time.
Yeah?
Making good time. So welcome everybody. If you're watching us on YouTube, if that's your preferred method, then please consider subscribing and doing the like button thing. It appeases the appetites of the algorithm gods of YouTube, so we appreciate that. We're still doing our Twitch subs for the Nitro Bear. We are currently at 38 out of 50. Oof. And once we hit that magic 5-0, Mr. Sandy here is going to eat the Nitro Bear. I imagine in a couple weeks when we come back, which I'm going to announce that here in a second, you're probably going to eat that bear.
Yeah.
So, to what I'm referring to, next week and the next Saturday and the Saturday after, we will be taking a break for 4th of July, and then the week after, me and Kira are going out of town. So we will be back on Saturday, July 17th. But our other awesome campaign, Descent into Avernus, will continue on, starting still this coming Monday. So if you haven't checked that out, make sure to join us for that. We're still going to stream something this Saturday, though. Maybe Vermintide, maybe D&D, maybe something else. If I do something single player, I might play The Witcher. I don't know. We'll see. Does anybody have any announcements? No? Nothing?
I have nothing.
How many days till you get married?
85.
85 days until we lose you forever. It was fun while it lasted.
I think everybody else is here is married, so what's that mean?
I don't know.
You lost me.
Yeah. I'm just gonna. Okay.
Maybe it means that JD has to share you then. Like he's
I do have to finally share you with somebody.
That's okay.
And I don't know how I feel about it, but that is okay. All right. Well, that being said, and after I've now spilled beer all over myself right at the very beginning of the evening.
This episode brought to you by Fireside.
I do want to give a quick shout out to Sirenscape for offering the awesome background music and ambience. They are awesome. So if you're running your own game and you need some background music, some ambience, Sirenscape. They are awesome. Recap from last week. Who wants to do?
I think that's going to be me. I think I'm the one.
Okay. Hit me with it.
Check 1, 2. Wilzu. Okay. So, we began last week with a bit of trouble. Demon jumping down right at me. Fortunately, Sucinda was hanging out with me at the time, so we were able to handle it. Something was stalking us. I knew it was stalking us. Everyone thought I was going crazy. My friends thought I was losing it, but regardless, we fought and we won. So, good times there. We were super exhausted, super tired, ready to rest, unable to move mostly, but we pressed on and marched on to the next town regardless. And we made it. We actually made it. And the very first thing we did was go back to my favoriteest of favorite places, the North Look Inn, which, at this point I really could, I know Scramsack's there and I didn't want to go back, but that was in the back of my mind. I was tired, I felt like I was dying, my friends felt like they were dying, except Sandy. Sandy was like, it's like a walk in the park for that guy. I still don't understand. I don't get that guy. But, anyhow, I booked us some rooms for about 3 days. 3 days of downtime. Just relaxing, just resting, recovering, and we finally we got our bearings back. After which, we decided to go report to Sheriff Southwell all the stuff that went down. And we had a whole bunch for him. And he theoretically had a whole bunch for us. Pulled out a big-ass list of, 40 things. Didn't really ask him about any. Just asked for, some more high-tier stuff. Because, WAS is really... We're up there now. We're a little better than the low guys. That conversation went... okay. We just basically gave him a heads up about a bunch of crazy shit happening. We showed him the map that marked off with X's, and the dwarves are rising up to destroy everything, and the ice dagger killer, he's dead, courtesy us. And, he was happy about it. He was so happy about it, paid us a little cash. He gave us a bag of gold, finally. We got rewarded. A real reward, other than room and board and a hot meal, which is a plus for us. That's new. It's new territory.
It's leveling up.
So I believe after that we went. That's right. He told us about some Church of the New God gnome going off about some cabin, and he sounded like it was really annoying, and the gnome wouldn't shut up about it, which I was immediately interested in. It's another gnome. We're not that common. He's talking about something important. I'm gonna go see what he has to say. And everyone else agreed because they're cool people, and they for sure were just as interested. So we go to the Church of the New God. We meet. I forget her name. There's some cleric there. Was it Teresa or something? Or
Michonne.
Michonne.
It was Michonne. So we sat and talked to her for a moment. She was like, "Oh, the new god, he's great, yes." And then our cleric's like, "Oh, fuck that Loki," and it was just weird. And then she left and went and got Copper, who was a bit of a talker. He was like, I know what I am. Okay, I know. I'm aware of me, but him. Holy crap, he was on another level. He was exciting. But he told us about a cabin, nonetheless. They're working on some device to stop all this crazy North stuff going on, this endless winter, and he left a friend there, abandoned a friend there after an argument, which sounds really, really dangerous. Hey, here's this device that may or may not save the world. Hey, let's leave him alone in a cabin in the middle of nowhere where surely nothing will ever assault or take advantage of said technology. Of course, we have to step in, so I tell him, hey, chill, we'll take care of it. He offers a sled. We really don't need a sled. I can make a disc that floats. Why do we want a sled? That's how I felt. That's what I told them, but they ignored me, of course, because sled, yay. So now we have a sled, and we are leaving town to Targo specifically. We were going to go to that cabin's way the hell out there. So we're going to a few cities to get there.
Okay. Great recap. Inspiration if you can tell me what the name of Copper Knocker's partner was.
You said it like 20 times.
Mm-hmm. Starts with an M.
What was his name? Mandrel.
No.
Read.
Merrick. Murder. Mayor.
Macratus!
Yeah.
Where's Macratus?
Macratus.
You left him!
Macratus.
You get inspiration anyway. That was a great recap. Thank you, sir. So,
Macratus. Are you Macratus?
Macratus. That was good times. Remember that? Okay. So that's where we're going to pick up today. You all have now left the confines of Bryn Shander, the 20 foot high walls surrounding the... Oh my god. Every time. As soon as the announcement, here they go.
Time to go to the bathroom.
Both of them.
Yep.
Both of them.
They both go to the door and they're just staring at us now. Aww.
Mama let them out.
Mama let him out. Bunch of jerks.
No.
I'm coming. Let's go.
No, I don't want to.
Yeah, now...
Just let you out.
Dude, like a minute before we started the stream.
They got a body clock. Goes off at 8:15 every Saturday.
Lady, come on.
They're like, no, I don't want to now that you want to let me.
Push, lady.
So you are now outside the confines of Bryn Shander. The large walls around the outside of the city behind you now as you kind of make your way around the eastern... There's only a southern and an eastern entrance to this city here. But you make your way out and around the northern side and back onto the road and start heading west. And it is about, you would guess that it's, probably getting close to midday, as the sky is just kind of gray. The snow a little more heavy today. The wind, the cold, a little bit more unbearable today than it was the past few days. Almost numbing as you're kind of trudging through. Sandy pulling this sled.
Nope, a dire
with
wolf
all the,
was pulling it.
Oh, that's right. You left that out of the recap.
I did. I didn't remember until we were outside.
So you're riding on top of the dire wolf pulling the sled. And you go for about...
Wait!
I got you. I haven't forgot about you. You go for about probably 15, 20 minutes until Bryn Shander is no longer in sight. And I throw the ball in your court.
Okay, I gotta do a few things. So, now that we're out and about, I'm on this dire wolf. The first thing I would like to do is take out an old spell scroll I found. I think it has something to do with fire. We got it as a reward early on from God, where was it? He gave us two things. We were able to talk him into
right after you died and came back.
It's when we got the bag, wasn't it? I thought
It was the captain of East Haven, if I remember right.
Yeah, he gave us the bag with the balls that summon the animals,
Yeah.
and the scroll. We were able to talk him into it.
I have his name written down.
And I want to know if I can determine what
Arlagath.
said scroll is.
Captain Arlagath.
So looking at the scroll that Captain Arlagath gave you, and just through your studies throughout the trip, kind of reading through on this adventure, reading through various books, you've now been able to piece together the runes and the script that was written on this scroll. You can determine that this is the scroll of Fireball.
Perfect. I notate that down. And I happily stow it away for now, as we're not doing anything with that quite yet. After that, I would like to go into my pack and pull out a odd red book with yellow pages.
Yes. This book, you kind of were able to piece together belonged to Dazan, or Zan, D-Z-A-A-N, the so-called wizard who was burned at the stake in East Haven when you arrived there. It was something that was on his personal effects and then hidden in the library, but you were able to find as you kind of slowly went through. And when you originally opened it, it was just gibberish, and then some pages would have little short stories on it. Another chapter was about fishing, and then more scribbles. But you pull that book out with it's a nice red book with a good solid binding on it, brown leather straps on it. It looks like it's been used, it's been worn, but still in good condition. Yellow pages. What would you like to do with it?
I would like to cast Dispel Magic on it.
Okay. You hold the book in the palm of your hand. Are you stopping the caravan, or are you kind of doing this as we're moving?
I'd be doing it while we're moving. It wouldn't stop us unless I can't focus enough to do it.
Okay. I'd say with this, it's kind of hard to read and concentrate on.
Okay, if it's gonna be difficult, then I'm gonna. Everyone, hold on just a moment. I think I have something now for this.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
I stop and I'm cleaning my glasses.
You mean the book?
Yeah, the book.
The magic book.
The magically protected, but no longer protected in about 10 seconds book.
I'm excited to cross off something off the list then.
So what are you? So you are now still sitting on top of the direwolf. What are you doing now?
Now I'm casting Dispel Magic on it.
Okay. You hold the book in the palm of your hand and place your other hand on top of it. You close your eyes and concentrate on it. And you feel a surge of energy just sort of wrap around the book. And you feel the book almost convulse a little bit, like it gets smaller then bigger, and then you feel the energy fade, and now you're standing still with a red covered book, leather bound, in your hand.
I'm gonna look through it again, see what's changed, see if anything's different.
When you open the book, the pages still yellow, but entirely different writing. And as you flip through it, you find page after page after page after page after page after page of spells written in this book.
My eyes light up.
As you're just flipping through, you are able to kind of determine these pretty quickly, as they are actually labeled. Kind of at the beginning of each spell, you see animate objects, arcane eye, arcane lock, blur, confusion, conjure elemental, detect magic, disguise self, hallucinatory terrain, illusory script, invisibility, knock, levitate, magic missile, major image, minor image, mislead, phantasmal force, phantasmal killer, seeming, sending, and silent image, and slow.
Wow. That's a lot of good stuff.
I close the big book and put it away. And just kind of stare at the back of the neck of the direwolf.
This looks like a book from a wizard who truly knew his shit.
It's a spell book.
Yes, I can see that on your face. A good one, maybe.
This thing is very, 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 very valuable. It has a lot of spells in it.
Can you read them?
I can.
Could you cast them?
I could. For, well, if you want all of them, for 450 gold-ish.
Fortune. Maybe more. Who knows?
But one at a time, 50 apiece. I could transcribe it to my own, do it my way, and then do it flawlessly. Oh, also, that scroll, turns out it was Fireball. Fireball scroll.
That's cool. What does that mean?
That means I can study it well enough, copy it in my book as well, and lob fireballs.
I'm very
Like-
jealous.
Like when you do earlier. Like you already do that.
No, I don't do that already.
You throw the fireballs.
Firebolt. This is a fireball. One is a single point flame. The other, imagine like 15 of those single point flames, all in different spots.
Okay.
You'll have to show us.
Yeah. Can you do it now?
No, next time we stop, I'll transcribe one, but I'm gonna need a lot of money for all the materials to get this going. Hopefully we make some money pretty soon. And a lot of it.
Well, we can make like 30 gold with the art from where we're going.
We're gonna need something a little bigger than that.
And that's maybe. Depends on... I'm sure in Bryn Shander we can find somebody to buy it, but... Probably it. We couldn't go to Caer Dineval and sell it. Who knows? The drunk guy may buy it. We could tell him it's a leprechaun enchanted thing. It'll help you find leprechauns.
You know what? One of the spells actually is involving locating things specifically. So, yeah.
We could tell him it's a leprechaun flute.
An ancient leprechaun flute.
Let's press on for now. I don't want to hold us too long out here. I'm glad to finally know what this is, though. This is...
Yes.
Man, this guy had a lot of spells. It was the guy who burned, if you remember
One thing
that.
off the list.
Oh,
You
yeah,
hear,
mark
you
that
hear
off.
this, and you kind of put it together that it was Zan.
That was Danny's friend.
Oh, this was his friend's spellbook? Her friend?
Danny's. I
Wow.
don't know if they were really friends, acquaintances.
Yeah, we know
I knew
this.
the guy.
How the hell did he get caught with this?
Wilzu, he
He
was a
didn't get
wizard,
caught with
remember?
it.
That's why he got burned. He killed those people.
Well, I'm just saying, with all the things that I just read in that book, he should have had the power to not be caught.
I didn't hear "Don't kill me" spell.
Well, either way, his
Sorry.
legacy will live on, hopefully, through this book. This will aid us, for sure.
Should
Okay.
we tell Danny?
Are you asking if we should tell Danny? We just left town. I'm not turning around.
I mean,
and telling
like,
him.
next time we talk
Danny
to her.
doesn't know.
Danny doesn't know that
No,
you can
no,
read
no,
the spell
no.
book.
So don't tell Danny.
Don't tell Danny.
Is that Euro Trip?
It'll never get old.
That's Euro Trip, right?
Is there a way to add that officially to my inventory?
That is something you're gonna have to. I'll have to just like basically copy paste you what spells are in there.
Okay.
We'll do it on the break.
Sure.
No, but yes.
Yeah, right.
It's
like yes, and but no.
We're pressing on.
Okay, so
Oh, can we get a map too?
you literally like
Oh.
2 seconds ahead of me.
Perfect.
So, you're still just outside Bryn Shander, only about 15 minutes away. You can barely see just kind of a light glow on the horizon from the lights of Bryn Shander behind you. And ahead of you, just a very faint outline of a road with kind of rocky terrain on either side.
Oh yeah, we're just following the road.
Okay. Anybody doing anything in particular as we're traveling? Because it takes to go from Bryn Shander to Targos. It takes about 2 hours.
Do we want to pick up the stuff right now, since we have to go back to Bryn Shander to sell it anyways? Should we get it on the way back?
We might be able to sell it in Tourmaline, right? We have to pass through there too.
I mean, we should pick it up and try and sell it as soon as possible.
Oh, okay.
But it's going to be like a specialty vendor.
And if it gets ruined, it gets ruined. It's
Pulling back on my like
he
goods.
said, it's like it's it's okay at best.
Yeah. Yeah, the guy that sells rations isn't going to buy this.
Hey, he might, he
I
may
mean,
be a
he could.
connoisseur.
He could, but
We're gonna
probably-
damn well
maybe.
try, right?
We'll try. We'll try.
Okay. So continuing down the road, any particular marching order? I know you're riding on the dire wolf, pulling the sled of supplies behind you. How's everybody else kind of?
I'll be next.
You're just walking behind the sled. Mm-hmm. You guys walking kind of beside it, or?
I would say casually, knowing it's just 2 hours and it's pretty close to civilization and just kind of whatever.
Yeah.
My guard's not down, but we're not like trying to ride single file to hide our numbers or shit like
gotcha.
that.
Yeah, gotcha. So you continue for about another 45 minutes. Wilzu and Sandy, both of you make a perception check for me.
7.
12.
Okay. Wilzu, kind of sitting up high, you notice a small plume of smoke off in the distance. It looks kind of like in the direction that you're going. You know that you're not near, you're maybe close to halfway between here and between Bryn Shander and Targos, so you know it's not anything coming from Targos, but it's also not very big or like a thick plume of smoke, but a plume of smoke nonetheless in the distance.
Are there any hills around us?
Yeah, it's kind of a winding road a little bit, like not like up in the mountains winding, but it's enough where there's a curve where you can't just see straight ahead. So it's almost like it's coming over some kind of ridges, things like that.
Okay. Aramil.
Yes.
I don't know if anyone else sees this, but I think I see smoke in the distance, and I don't think we're close enough for it to be from a city.
Where?
It's almost straight ahead, like on the path. Can you go up on one of these nearby hills and see if you can see anything better?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll kind of like, not like gallantly leap up, but like try and
Kind of jog ahead a
spring
little bit.
up,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's not hard. It's not like sheer cliffs. There's definitely places where you can kind of hop up and kind of move up. There's a couple of spots that are a little tricky, but you're nimble enough, you're able to get up without any kind of check. When you get to the top of this ridge, looking ahead, you see the road kind of winding, and you see there's almost an area where the kind of the rockiness subsides a bit, and you see a group of 3 people sitting around a campfire.
I'll shoot a message back to Wellesley. 3 people. Campfire.
And they don't seem to be concealing themselves. They're kind of just right out in the open.
Not disguised.
Are they
Message to Wellesley.
are they human?
Can't really see from here. I mean, I can see they're humanoid, but it's hard to say from here what they are. I mean, I could... I'll stop there and instantly, like, try and find a path closer, but I don't want to be seen.
Right. It's kind of like there's really, as you're up on this, kind of the top of this, the ridge kind of follows the road until it goes down. So there's, if you kind of crest that ridge, you're kind of right
Almost
out in
there.
the open. Yeah. It's not, they're not far away. I mean, maybe 2 minutes walking.
I'll, disappointed. I'll go back. Go back to the crew.
Okay.
Well, there's not really a good way to get closer to them without being seen. But they are just sitting there. They're not trying to hide themselves or anything like that. I don't see any, like, mounts or, riding things or anything like that. So they couldn't get away really quick if we wanted to murder them.
Huh.
But they're not traveling fast either, nor concealing themselves.
Okay, well, there's 4 of us and a direwolf, so I guess, let's just approach. Just, give them a wave and go about our business. Unless they're assholes. In which case, we'll do something about that. But yeah, we'll just press on then.
Yeah, let's just walk casually.
Okay.
We just take on the
With a
bed.
dire wolf.
Yeah.
Just casually.
Casually trotting.
Okay. You continue around the bend, and when you come around that little curve, you all now can see the group of people sitting around this fire. And it looks like they've built sort of this makeshift, out of sticks, kind of cooking rack, and they've got a couple of fish just kind of rolling around. It seems like they're cooking some food. And there are 2 of them that have their backs facing to you. One of them sees you, and they sort of stop. You kind of hear some laughter a little bit that quiets down. And shortly after, you see the other 2 just kind of look back toward you. The one that's facing you just kind of seems to be looking your caravan up and down, notices the direwolf, sort of stands up and just kind of...
I'll hold up one hand just for a moment and then lower it. And just, I have not slowed pace at all, just kind of still trotting.
Under my cloak, I do just want to, like a sheriff holding a gun, I just want to have it on my dagger, but not be obvious about it.
Okay. So you continue on towards them. You get close enough, within earshot. The one that was facing you, and they're all they're still sitting kind of on these rocks, and they're turned around kind of looking at you. The one that was facing you says, hello. It's a fine beast you have there.
Indeed. Well met, traveler. Just a heads up, and I'll kind of just lean slightly off my wolf towards him and say, your fire might not be the safest thing out here. We spotted it a whiles back, meaning if there's anything else around, it's probably going to spot it too. May not want to keep that going too long.
That's a good point. We were starving. We had to stop and eat something. We've been traveling from Bremen. We're headed to Bryn Shander.
From Bremen, huh? Any news from that way?
Nothing good, just as anywhere else.
Well, Bryn Shander's, as Bryn Shander has been, so nothing on that end either. Fortunately, no ambushes along the way either, so... Well, before Bryn Shander, but not after. So, yeah, should be clear for the moment.
Where are you all headed?
We're heading to Targos.
Targos?
Yes, you said that a little odd. Targos.
Just weird things happening there lately.
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, we passed through there. It just seemed like the streets were empty.
Empty streets. So, in the middle of the day, or whatever day is here.
Hard to say what time of day it was. We only went around the outskirts. We didn't pass through the town direct. We stopped to try and get something to drink, but everything was shuttered. And we decided, well, that can't be a good sign. So we continued on our way. Apologies. Sigurd, by the way, is my name.
Sigurd.
And these are my friends, Erman and Udo. And they both just sort of nod to you.
I'm Wilzu. This is Lucinda, Sandy, and Aramil. We are Was.
Was!
You heard of us?
We have heard of you,
Oh, wow.
indeed.
That is great.
It's too bad you couldn't have made it to our town.
Indeed. All the more reason why I think we should get going now. If something's going on in Targos, we're going to be the answer. Sigurd, stay safe, buddy. Again, watch your campfires, alright?
He means to say we're not the reason why it's shut. Let me just be clear.
Well, of course not. We're the reason it's gonna be okay.
You did say we are the answer. You implied that was our fault.
No. We're simply the solution.
To fixing it.
Right.
Well, I wish you the best of luck. Venturing's not really our forte. We just... And he points to the fire. Fish.
Now you're fishermen.
By trade. Fortunately, too dangerous to fish in Bremen anymore, so... Going to find other work in Bryn Shander, hopefully.
You know, it is funny that you say you are a fisherman. I just so happen to have. Oh, I thought I had it. Maybe I got rid of it already. Never mind. I had a fishing tackle I did not need. I don't want. It's gone. Never mind. I'm so sorry to have brought it up.
You see one of the other ones just kind of glance over towards the other one and then back to you. Shrug.
Okay, great.
Before we go, you said it was too dangerous to fish in Bremen now?
Unfortunately, the Mayor Dualden has got some sort of lake monster in it. I don't know. That's what the other fishermen say. I've never seen it.
Lake monster.
But we came out to our boat one day to find it not there anymore. People say they've heard of folks disappearing out on the lake.
Would there be any bounties for said lake monster?
I'm not the one to really offer that. I don't know.
Well, I just didn't know if one's been posted already.
Nothing posted.
Well, fair enough. Maybe,
Could be someone just trying to scare off other fishermen, for all I know. But unfortunately for us, it's done the trick. And with everything else that's going on right now, we have to play it safe. The lake is not as big as it used to be, being that it's, well, a third of it's frozen over now.
Alright, well, we're gonna make haste to Targos, unless does anyone else want to ask Sigurd anything before we head out?
What was the, wasn't it Caer Dineval that needed fish? And wasn't it Caer Koenig that had too much? Or is that the other way around?
Caer Dineval did not really... oh, no, Caer Koenig, yeah.
Had the fish.
Would have had it. No, would have needed it.
They needed it, and then Caer Dineval had too much?
Yeah.
I don't know. So, the Caers up north, there are money to be had there. You probably do need money to get there, though.
I've heard bad things coming from the Cares.
Well, we've taken care of the bad things coming from the Caers. Both of them.
Actually, yes. Long story short, cultist takeover, cultist dealt with.
Cultists?
Order restored. Again, long story short.
But you should
You're
probably...
sure they're gone?
Oh, absolutely. We,
Crushed them all.
all through the keep. Turns out they had taken the speaker hostage. A bit of a dick, too, but I'm sure you're aware of that, too.
Speaker Kranich, not well liked by most.
But he's back in charge, and town's back to normal for now.
Right.
Until the next crazy thing in this hellish tundra happens. So,
Right.
You should probably get an escort, though, from Bryn Shander up there.
wouldn't hurt.
Escort?
Well, someone to help you when you're traveling there. I know there's 3 of you, but you said you're fishermen, right?
Guards, something.
We've run into goblins with polar bear mounts in a fortress driving on the tundra, so... And then lamp people and all sorts of crazies. Again,
You just see his eyes kind of glaze over a little bit.
That's right. and we will get that polar bear mount. That will be ours.
Eventually, we find him again. We're taking it.
It
Commandeer
will
it.
be ours.
If the stories I've heard of Was are true, I'm sure it is possible.
Or an airship. Do you know of an airship here?
I'm not gonna fly in the tundra. You crazy?
He
We'll
looks
freeze
up
to
and
death.
says, I don't think you'd want to go anywhere higher up than you have to. Even the cairn is frozen over.
All right, well, Sigurd, I guess we're good, buddy. Stay safe and
Yes.
keep your eyes to the sides, okay? You never know what's out here.
Indeed.
I'll kind of kick my heels.
Yeah, he splits his eyes to the side. He's a frog monster.
Roll initiative.
Roll initiative.
I'll start pulling the sled on and heading out.
And they seem to just kind of look at your direwolf with just like,
Feels epic all of a sudden.
and you continue to make your way towards Targus. The fire, the light of the fire, kind of disappears around another curve, and eventually you even lose sight of the smoke behind you.
Once we start getting closer to Targos, and I'm going to tell everybody else it's the same, I'm going to kind of be on a little bit more high alert, since they said the town seemed empty. My immediate thought is it's been... I don't think something magical happened. I think it was attacked or something inside went down that kind of either killed or took everyone. So I'm of the idea that there might be ambushes around it now. So I'm kind of going in there with that idea.
Okay.
And I'll relay that to
Sounds-
everybody at RP or whatnot.
It sounds great, but we're going to Targos. We leave it, it's fine, and now it's terrible.
Wait, are the men that have the dog for me in Targos?
Yes.
Oh my gosh,
They
we
have
need
the-
to get them immediately.
They're the art people. We've been talking. It feels like months, but it's probably been a couple days.
I'm owed a dog.
There might be a dog there with no owner at the moment.
Oh.
Okay, so continue on. You go
Dog
about
appears.
another
On the couch.
30 minutes from where you left the three men sitting by the road. All four of you make a perception check.
Now one, baby.
There you go.
I don't heed my own advice.
16.
reading.
16.
22.
17.
Okay.
Nice.
Everyone except Wilzu.
Voodoo, get your head out of your book. You said you already read it. You said to look.
This was a
You're
good
not
part. I just
looking.
wanted this one part, okay?
The three of you hear just through the wind and the snow, just barely, a small flapping sound, like wings.
God, I'm looking to the
okay.
sky for a dragon.
When you
Oh
look
my God.
up, it gets somewhat louder, and then you see a small silhouette of some sort of small winged creature
What's the
just
name, dragon?
but just fly past you fairly quickly, straight in the direction, following the road, and then disappear. Hard to see. You couldn't really make out any details of what it was, but it was probably about maybe 7-8 inches long from head to tail, with kind of bat-like or dragon-like wings, but just kind of almost a shadow as it passed over you, going the same direction you are.
Did you guys see that?
That can't be a good sign, can it?
What?
That was weird.
Small winged creature that just
heading.
flew above us.
Small winged.
You didn't hear it?
No!
It's headed
Something flew over us?
towards Targos.
It was heading towards Targos?
Yes.
You guys messing with me?
No.
And it didn't attack us.
I don't know if it saw us. It was flying real quick.
Right.
Was anything on it?
Couldn't tell.
It was a little bitty. Well, sort of.
Okay.
6 to 8 inches? Feet. Inches.
Inches.
Inches. It was a tiny. What would be on it? Oh, maybe a mini dwarf. Yeah,
Like
that's a good point.
like the size of a medium-sized bird, almost.
I wonder if the tiny dwarf man can fit on the side of a tiny flying creature.
They just have small baby dragons they use for mounts.
Exactly, yes. And then it can also go
Well,
bigger.
maybe we should
Ooh.
quicken our pace. Maybe we should move.
We should. And we're gonna We're gonna move up our pace one notch from, adventuring to jogging.
Yeah.
Okay. Another while passes. Again, still mostly, probably midday still. And you see ahead of you as the elevation starts to kind of drop from the more kind of rocky, mountainous terrain. You see the outline in front of you of Targos with its also tall 20-foot wooden fence around the perimeter of it. Of course, open to the side that faces the lake there. From where you are, you can't really make out any true detail of anything inside of it.
Are any of the lights on, like in the picture?
It's you're still a bit too far away to tell. The snow and ice are kind of blocking anything like that from penetrating through. It seems like most of the time during the day in most of these towns there's not a whole lot of light on anyway. And I use the word day very loosely.
So we can see the gate at the moment?
You can make out, the perimeter of the gate, yeah.
Are there any guards out there?
Make a perception check, just to kind of peer through the snow and the wind. 17.
Nice.
You can see what looks like a couple of people standing there.
Well, there might be. I think there's guards still posted. What were this? This makes me uncomfortable. I just got told there's no one around, and now there's people there. I don't know what to think. So, kind of what Aramil said, kind of like hand on gun style.
Right.
Just still approaching this place.
Okay. So approaching the gate, you see two people standing there that look to be in just kind of normal guard attire, and
they're not in winter clothes?
Well, yeah, winter clothes, but
they're
kind of holding a shield and a sword, or one of them's holding a spear. And they just kind of look to you, and they mostly focused on your direwolf. And one puts up his hand and says, "Halt! What business do you have bringing a beast like that here?"
And I'll halt and say, Gentlemen, I assure you this beast is under my complete control, and for protection only. More importantly, we heard that something might be going on in your town. Tell me, is everything normal here at the moment?
Right out with.
Yeah, I'm not beating around the bush at all.
Normal? No. Nothing normal about anything the last few days.
And why is that?
We actually been getting food.
You've been getting food?
Yeah.
What type of food?
Town hall. They've been giving out stew.
Is that right?
You bring in and give a little something, and they give you a day's meal.
Wow, that sounds impressive. And we were only here to pick up art, but now we get to see this stew they're giving out.
The whole city's just crowded by the town hall.
Impressive. Well, we won't keep you then. I'm glad your town's being fed now, but we do have business here. You've probably heard of us, if I'm being honest. We're the adventuring group WAS. I'll give him like a...
And he looks over and says, "You ever heard of him, Will?" And Will says, "Wow, maybe." And then the other one turns back to you. "I never heard of you, but maybe he has."
Well, we're...
Oh, you will be hearing of us.
You'll be hearing of
shortly.
us as we conquer heroic deeds throughout the frozen tundras.
We'll be conquering.
Not conquering. Why do you always go to the worst things?
Conquering over evil.
Conquering over evil. Yes.
I look sideways.
He says, "Well, either way, evil conquering or not, just like with a horse, you gotta stable that thing. No riding it through town."
No, that's understandable. And I'll order it to lay down.
It does.
And I'll hop off, and I'll look at it and say, well, actually, first I'll look at them. Where's your stable?
Right past the gates.
Okay, and I'll look to the wolf and say, go to the stable. Don't hurt anything unless it tries to hurt you.
You kind of hear it kind of pant a little bit and then let out just kind of one of those long dog breaths that has that high, just that quick little high-pitched squeal, and it kind of trots off, and you see it. You see both the guards kind of look past it, and it goes toward what you see a big building. When it approaches some of the horses, you can hear them kind of getting restless, but it finds a stall and just sort of curls up and lays down.
I'll start walking past the guards and I'll say, if it eats anything, it's because it deserved it. Just give you a heads up. Let's go, guys. Let's go check out this crazy stew they have now.
He says, I hope so. Stew's all right, but,
I'll bet it is.
Better than fish.
Right, yeah, of course.
And you make your way. Here, let me transition us over here.
As soon as we get an earshot, I want to talk with folks.
Okay.
Wilzu, talk me down. Talk me down.
So when you go in through the gate, it looks like I did. Make sure I did this right. Yep, I did. So this is the gate here, the southern gate that you've come in. The stables are just right here through the entrance there. And you make it into this first kind of crossroads, a couple 100 feet past the gate. And you do see the streets are pretty empty.
Okay, well, perfect. I'll stop everyone and ask them to huddle on in.
Yes, we do.
Okay, we should all know what's going on here. So before we start shooting arrows and clubbing skulls in, let's talk for a moment. So
We murdered them.
clearly someone who
I have my
robbed
dagger, just like...
the people we tried to sell the cauldron to have decided to sell it here. Now, it is feeding people right now.
The wrong people. I
So
did not agree to feed these people.
Yes.
we have to find out who sold it. And to do that,
And kill them.
we'll cross that bridge later. To do that, though, we have to be ignorant of what this is.
I
I.e.,
can't
we don't
wait
walk
to meet
in...
Prudence.
Say what now?
Prudence, I bet is here.
It's impossible, but either way, once we go to this town hall, we see the cauldron, we don't, this cauldron was ours one time. That's crazy. Like, none of that shit, okay?
No, I will play very dumb. Oh my goodness, a cauldron that feeds people. How is this possible?
And we-
Oh, it's
exactly.
so great.
And how did Prudence know how to use it?
We don't know. Look, those might not be connected. We don't know.
How did you ever come to possess such a magical object?
That-
Oh, wow.
More of that, yes.
How do we want to kill
I wonder
Prudence?
if they're still here. I
Damn
really
it,
want a
Irma.
bag that can hold a
We
lot
gotta
of
take her back.
things.
And we don't need the bag.
Oh,
a
yes.
holding bag right now.
Yeah,
We
I
have,
want
collect
it.
the bounty on it.
Maybe I can talk to them.
okay, everybody reel it in.
We could let the
Everybody reel
people in East Haven kill her.
it in. We just need information.
can
for
She
now.
sold your magic cauldron.
I
Think
can-
how mad they'd be.
can start a crazy rumor about them. Oh, they are poisoning you with this cauldron. Over time, you will die.
Not gonna lie, I look around at the
turn into
streets again
zombies.
and see like no one around. Is that right? Mm-hmm. That might not be too untrue. I mean, this is kind of weird. There's no one around.
But thankfully she has health potions you can buy to carry you.
You know, over time, the cauldron, they are doing mind control to you. You know that, right?
Said you get what I'm saying, right? Information gathering.
Sorry?
We need to ask. We need to figure out how the cauldron got here. We need to do it in a coy way, not how did you get this? More like wow. This must have been on who is that? That Torga lady sells unique stuff. Did it come from her? And they're like, oh no, it can't. Try to ease
Yes,
into
play
it.
very dumb. I understand. I can do.
I'm more on the whole physical interrogation side, so I'll wait my turn.
Okay, all right, that makes sense.
I wonder how many
I
town
hope that you
guard are
tear
in this
them
place.
limb from limb.
I will.
Good. I'm in agreement.
Yes,
Good.
absolutely. Everyone will die once we find out where this came from, and if they don't give it
It's our cauldron, and I want it back.
Everyone who has wronged us.
Let's head to the Great Hall and see what we see.
Maybe, does anybody have a lighter coat? And I'm really going to sell this. Mine is, and I look, and it's like
Did you-
super insulated and like.
Why do you need an extra coat?
No, I need a very Oh, it's so cold out here. Oh, a fresh meal from this cauldron.
Did you sell your fine clothes?
Then it will make me look well-to-do.
No. Do you have them still?
Yes.
We'll put them on.
Don't you have a
And then I will
disguise
seem
kit?
well-to-do.
Don't you have like shady clothes in your
I
disguise
guess I
kit?
could put that on.
Yeah, you have a disguise kit, right? Like
Right.
a mustache
Do you
or
have
something?
like a homeless disguise kit or something? You could be like a hobo, you know?
While you're doing that, let's walk and figure that out. Really just need to see what this looks like before we go in trying a plan that might not even have anything to do with what we're doing. Right?
I will just wear my normal
Maybe,
clothes. I'll just really
maybe
sell it.
we should talk to Garrett.
After we see the cauldron first, right?
He could tell us maybe a whole bunch about it, since we helped his husband, and like now they owe us the art.
He might know where it came from.
He could know the deal.
And if he does not know, then when we go to the cauldron, we can, oh my gosh, the cauldron.
Which,
Right.
Oh, it's so fancy.
We already have a relationship with them.
didn't we bring that up last time we were here? That we were looking for someone that stole a cauldron from us?
Did we actually tell Garrett that?
I don't think you
I
told
think
Garrett
we
that.
asked-
You told the innkeeper.
We told the innkeeper.
Yeah.
Maybe we should pay his ass a visit. That's our alibi. Alright, Garrett or innkeeper?
Yes.
Maybe if we see Garrett, I can see if he has my puppy.
Let's go to Garrett first then. Try to get a rundown of the odd people not here issue. We're gonna go to Garrett's house.
Okay. You remember which way to go to...
I'm glad you guys remember. I vaguely remember being left.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, she was behind.
Will you grab me one? Thank you. So you make your way, actually not far, just due east, a few hundred feet, and you see Garrett and Keegan's little cottage off to the side. Snow sort of resting atop the roof, and the fenced-in area actually has a few dogs outside, and you see them mostly just curled up
Oh no.
next to each other, sleeping.
Try and distract Sim from the dogs. Oh. Too late. Too late.
I'm gonna knock on the door.
Yeah.
Okay. Knock on it a few times. The door slowly opens, and when it does, you see Garrett open the door. And he looks to you all and says, Oh, gods! You actually came back!
Yes.
Hi, Garrett.
Last is returned.
Hi, please, and he kind of steps to the side. Come in. He looks back. Keegan, put something on the stove. Whatever. What are you drinking?
Multitude of beers. We had some roadies.
Well, please come in.
Thank you.
And when you go in, you see Keegan kind of run over to the kitchen area of the house and start pulling out some mugs, and looks like he starts to boil some water, like he's gonna make some tea or something like that. You see Boy, the dog, that kind of led his whole sled, is actually curled up on the bed, and he's just got his chin resting on the edge of the bed, just sort of looking at you all. And Garrett kind of ushers you over to the tables. Please have a seat.
I'll sit down casually, get comfy.
And Keegan sort of calls over from the kitchen area and says, "I suppose you're here for the reward for bringing Garrett back, yes?"
Is there already like tea or something in front of us?
He's like making it.
No,
Okay.
we just wanted to make sure you made it back okay, and the reward is secondary, as long as you got home okay.
Yes, Garrett made it home safe and sound. He told me everything. He said you were attacked by a Yeti?
Unfortunately, yes.
Been attacked by a lot of things.
They blur together.
It seems like the Dale just keeps getting more and more dangerous as the days go by.
It does. We actually,
Whiskey for a whiskey, eh?
we actually came here first, as soon as we arrived, because of a few different reasons. If you don't mind me asking you some questions, Garrett.
Sure, absolutely.
The first thing, the town seems rather vacant. As far as the streets go, what's up with that?
Well, most people are inside or, well, to be quite frank with you, and then Garrett kind of steps up. They're all standing around at town hall, hoping to get some of the stew that they've been handing out.
Is that right? That would bring me to my second question. We heard about that at the front gate, actually. Everyone getting this stew suddenly. Tell me, how long ago did that start?
Must have been a few days ago.
A few days, right. And, any idea, who exactly came in, delivering this capability?
I don't know much about it. The first day, most people were just kind of poking fun. They didn't believe it. And then I guess a few people tried it, and word spread, and now there's a literal line of people in front of town hall, and it's gotten to the point where people are offering things, money, for that, even though they're not technically, the speaker is not asking for it, but it's, I don't know, it's a strange situation.
Well,
I suppose people are just really tired of knucklehead trout.
I suppose I'm about to drop a bombshell of information on you here, Garrett, but let me remind you first, we did help your husband get here. Remember?
I am the husband you helped get here.
Oh, yeah, we helped you get back to your husband, remember?
Yes.
Good. So we have a level of trust between us, so please don't find it strange when I say...
Whiskey. Thank you.
Oh, yes, thank you, Whiskey.
Let's see. Let's give a quick shout out
Closer
here.
to torturing Stubbs.
So sorry for interrupting
Tin
you,
Whiskey,
my friend Wilson.
thank you for the 5 subs. Gifting the 5 subs. We appreciate you. We are 7 away from
There you go.
you having to eat the nitro
Make
bear.
it happen tonight.
We don't have the bear tonight, but we will do it.
Right.
If we hit it tonight, we'll do it.
We just need to
first
get to
thing.
the number tonight.
Yeah.
That's all that
No,
matters.
you're good, you're good. That's all good. That cauldron, we had actually made a deal with another town. We were the ones that discovered it and its magical property.
Wait, you're saying the cauldron's magical?
That would be correct.
I just assumed that they'd found some other spell or something that they could use to
Lies.
create food.
It makes enough food to feed a whole town every day, on its own through magical enchantments. It used to belong to a hag. It was filled with gross stuff then, but we had commandeered it from her, took care of her, went back to, what town was it again?
It's East Haven.
East Haven. Made a deal with them. They were going to pay us. Instead, it was stolen from East Haven, and that was maybe a few weeks back now. And here we arrive in this town to hear that there's some new magical amount of food and stew and whatnot the people are getting. So you can understand my confusion at the situation, yes?
I can. And I do trust you. I do take your word for it.
We think it was related to that Prudence that we asked you about earlier.
I do remember you asking me about Prudence.
The rumor was that she had family here, but we could not find anything on our brief stay last time.
And I've not seen anything about it since you've left. I must admit, I've been mostly enjoying myself here at home since I've barely survived the mountain.
Yes.
And you've had some of the stew, right?
Indeed.
Okay, you're all okay? Whatnot?
Looks over to Keegan. Keegan just shrugs and says, "Feel fine."
Okay, so yeah, it's just, people are just at the Great Hall. They just really want some food. That's why the streets are empty. Okay, well, we were stopping here, hopefully, thinking maybe you knew something about the people who would have come with it or delivered the magical item here, but it sounds like you don't, so that's unfortunate. But we're in
Either
a bit
way,
of a...
we try not to... Well, the line itself is a little bit of a burden to deal with anyway, but Keegan and myself, we try to continue to sustain ourselves. I still go out and fish. It's much less dangerous than climbing mountains. We bring back and eat our own food. I'm not too worried about the stew, but what you've said has maybe shaken that belief a bit, if what you say is indeed true, and this is the cauldron that you did find.
Indeed. You can see that this puts us in a bit of a hard place. We have this cauldron we sold to another town, and now it's here. People are aware of it, and they're eating from it.
Keegan comes up and places tea, hot tea, in front of
Thank
everybody.
you.
I'll take a sip while just looking worried.
Indeed, the
Whiskey, thank you so much
How many?
for the additional subs.
Whiskey with another 5 subs. Thank
2
you,
more.
Whiskey.
2 more, right?
Only
Yes.
one now, because
One.
he gifted
One.
one
He
additional.
slipped
Yeah.
one earlier.
We
One.
don't have the bear with us tonight, though.
Yeah, it's okay, but we can still get there. We don't.
You're gonna eat that hot bear.
We got weeks to prepare for it.
Oh, okay.
So, just as a heads up, we will be off the next 2 Saturdays, but when we come back that next Saturday,
Well, you gotta get one more sub.
I guarantee you we'll get 1 sub in 2 weeks. If I have to do it myself, I'll do
We'll
it.
make it happen.
But he looks to you and says, I the speaker seems to be handling everything. I don't know how the cauldron got here. I don't know where it came from. I don't know anything about it. We try to stay out of the town's affairs, but when you start getting speakers involved in politics, it can start to become a bit dangerous.
We've spoken to quite a few speakers now, and they all come in different shapes and sizes.
Indeed
So
they do.
this one, have we spoken to the speaker here before? I don't recall.
I don't think so.
I don't think we have. Well, we're good at making good introductions, so...
Nerth.
Nerth! Did we... That name sounds familiar.
Maxildenar.
Nerth sounds familiar, but
Did you say Sylvanar?
Maxildenar.
Maxildenar. No, I don't think we've talked to him. Would he be at the Great Hall now, you think, with the cauldron?
They're usually there around midday, handing out until there's no more. Those who, again, from what I've come to understand, it can feed most of the town. There's at least 1,000 people here, though. So it's turned into kind of a bartering system who can offer something in return for it.
Well, I suppose our next stop then is... We did mention this to an innkeeper here a while back, I believe. Maybe we'll go... No, there's no way he would... That'd be a waste of time. We're gonna go see this speaker.
You're
and have
talking
words
about the
with him.
innkeeper at the Luskin Arms.
Indeed.
yes.
We may have mentioned such a device in passing to him last time we came here.
Interesting. I've only met him a few times, but he seems like a decent man, but we don't stay there. Owen, I think his name is.
Owen. Is this the place where you got that weird breakfast combo repeatedly, Airmo? And you were like, the Cabbage Patch with the carrots and the chickens do the dancing. There's something weird.
It is where we had an agreement for food and bed, yes.
Perhaps you can speak to him then.
Tin Whiskey gifted one more time. We've hit 50. We've crossed the threshold.
Fantastic.
Whiskey, you
Thanks.
have single-handedly destroyed this man's rectum 2 weeks from now.
I'll see you soon.
Phrasing.
No, but seriously, thank you for the gifted subs. Like it's all fun and to watch him eat hot
Yeah.
and spicy stuff, but that actually does mean a lot. So thank you.
Garrett, who's distributing the stew?
Who's Kira?
Garrett.
Garrett.
Oh, I thought you
not
said Kira.
Oh, no. Garrett. Sorry.
I have Kira as well.
Sorry. Garrett, who's distributing the stew?
Well, there's quite a few guards standing there around to keep the peace. The speaker is usually there overseeing, and then a different person from time to time will be the one distributing.
All right, well, I guess we're going to go ahead go talk to Owen for a moment. See if he remembers us and what we said. And if he feigns ignorance, well, straight to the Great Hall to have words with the speaker.
Keegan says, "Well, don't go without my artwork. I promised it to you.
Ah, yes. We
Thank
did
you.
stop by for that as well.
And he hands you the 2 pieces of scrimshaw. One is kind of like a walrus tusk that has engraved on it. It's very well crafted, actually. Sort of an oceanscape on it with frozen kind of ice flows and different animals across it. The other one looks like a large, maybe some kind of shark tooth or something that also has not anything in particular on it, but more just kind of a very intricate design on it. He says, you could probably catch a decent amount for this at a regular shop, or I believe there's kind of, I guess what you would call a connoisseur of this type of art up in Lonelywood.
Lonelywood.
It's a few hours north from here.
We just happen to be going that direction after this. Depending on what we're about to find out, of course.
Be careful, I've heard... Well, these days in Icewind Dale you hear stories from everywhere, but... Well, just be careful.
And that we will. I'll take another sip of my little hot tea, and I'll hop out of the chair and say,
A question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was curious. Last we spoke, you spoke about I could have a puppy.
Nah.
Garrett kind of laughs and says, well, it's only been maybe, a week since the
Yes,
last...
but so here's my question. When the puppy is, if I'm traveling, do you think that you could take care of the puppy for me until I can come back?
Well, we're not just going to leave it on the street.
Okay, perfect. Now, do you think I will get a boy dog or a girl dog? If it is
He
a
kind
girl,
of looks back to Keegan like,
if a girl, can I have a girl named Lady? And a boy, can I have a boy named Obi?
you can name the dog whatever you want.
Yes, but if I'm traveling and you're taking care of it, that way that you can teach it its name. I just want to be sure. These are the names I have picked for each dog. So I just wanted to, get that.
Sure. Lady and
Obi.
Obi.
Yes, Obi for bad boy.
Well, we'll do our best to train him if you've not made it back.
Perfect, thank you.
Well, if you're truly going to try and get to the bottom of this, I wish you luck, and please, be careful. You're a good friend.
well, thanks, buddy. We'll try.
And you, the quiet one.
Yes.
You're scary, but also a good friend, and he looks at the axe on your back. Take care of that.
Of course. It has taken many, many heads since I've last seen
I
you.
don't need to know that.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and go see Owen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Finish our tea. And...
So you were
Yes, I
there
finished my
probably
tea. Oh,
about
just
30
go.
minutes. When you walk out of Garrett and Keegan's home, you can see multiple pillars of kind of gray smoke coming from the direction of Town Hall, which is pretty much due north from where you are. Actually, you would know where Town Hall is here. I'll just circle it here, or square it. Bam. Bam! There's Town Hall. The inn is right here. So it takes you probably about 15 minutes or so to walk across the way to the inn, which you remember is the Luskin Arms. When you approach it, you see familiar... Let me get this back together here. When you approach it, you see the familiar kind of front with the sign out that says Luskin Arms on it. There's a big muscle bicep on it.
Solid.
Let me transfer you over here. Man. We're still utilizing some assets from when we played online. So bear with us as we transition. Wilzu and crew, Was, you approach the front and we heading inside.
Airmill, you take point on this one. You got rapport and whatnot, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, we're behind you, buddy.
Okay, so you walk in.
I'll walk in.
And you see Owen standing behind the counter there, and he looks up and says, "Oh, Wes, you've made it back. What brings you back to Targos?"
Yes, I don't remember you as this old, but I guess so. I say in my head. Yes, we're back. Yes, we're here for business.
Right.
Hopefully it's good.
Lots of business happening.
Yes.
Could you be more specific?
We were checking in on someone we rescued, and they're good, and they're here. Keegan and his husband Garrett.
Right, yes.
We ensured Garrett made it back to town.
Yes, I believe I've seen him walking around. Fishing, mainly.
Yes, we wanted to make sure that they were there, and we got some scrimshaw out of it. And we need a place to rest and catch up on some news.
Here you are.
Yes. Do we want an inn? A night at the inn? I look back at everybody.
Potentially. Not quite yet.
Are there rooms available if we are purchasing?
Indeed there are.
Okay. Well, what's been going on? It's been, a week or so since we've been here? 2 weeks? 3 weeks? I don't know.
Kind of looks confused.
It's been a while.
Are you asking
Maybe.
for something specific?
Is anyone else around here?
There's a couple sitting at the table across the room. But they seem to be kind of wrapped up in their own.
If they look this way at all, or look towards us all, I'll just go screw with them. Just, oh, hey, I'm Wilson. Check this shit out.
I'll lean in.
Look what I can do.
I'll lean in a little bit. We know about the cauldron. You remember?
Oh, yes, the cauldron.
Remember, we said something about it. We were looking for it.
You think that
We know it's here.
the cauldron is what's
And I just
feeding
start,
people? Interesting.
We were looking for Prudence.
Prudence. I've not seen a Prudence.
There was rumors her family was here. And then now the cauldron's here. Do you know how it got here? Was it one of us? Or no?
From what I've been told, it was left on the front steps of Town Hall.
Just left there, no note.
With a note, yes.
What did it say? Do you know?
It just said, "Feed our people."
Feed our people. Well, we had an agreement, a contract with another town for that cauldron. So we're in somewhat of a bind now.
Are you looking to have an audience with the speaker?
I look around a little bit I say in my head, are you reading my mind?
You seem a bit upset.
Well, we just want to know what happened, how it got here.
I'm afraid I'm not privy to that information. I just run the inn. I hear plenty of talk here in the front room, but don't hear everything.
Yes, maybe we should talk with the speaker. Do you know if he has hours? Or?
Well, right now he's at Town Hall. I suppose I could leave a message with him here at the desk when he comes back. I told you before he stays in
here,
the
yes.
prime suite here.
That's right. He does stay. Yes, we would like to schedule an appointment. However exciting that sounds, yes.
Okay, then
Was would like to speak with him.
I could let him know that you'd like to speak with him, and I'm not necessarily his keeper. I can let him know, and
Yes.
if he wants to speak with you, he will.
If you see him before we see him, right?
Yes. Yeah, yes, we want to speak to him.
Because there's a high likelihood we're going straight to where he is directly after this.
Probably
Yes.
yes. Probably yes. As in, we will. Yes.
I see. Well, if I see him, I will let him know, and I'm sure if he's already spoken to you, he will let me know.
Anything else going on in Targos or the surrounding area that we should know about?
This all seems to be the talk of the town.
Indeed. I'm visibly getting frustrated on my face.
Are people giving a lot of money for this? the
No. From what I've heard, people are offering either small amounts of money. They're not asking for it. It's being offered. Some are offering knucklehead trout in exchange for the stew. I guess they're just tired of the fish.
Right.
Some are offering wood, oil, seemingly to try and get ahead in line, I suppose.
Right.
Not a lot of food to go around these days.
True. Well, thank you, Owen, for the information.
As always.
I'm sure we'll be back if we need to. I'm sure we will. I don't know.
Is it how long would it take to get to the Great Hall from here? Is it about like 10 minutes, 5 minutes?
About 10 minutes.
10 minutes? Okay. In that case, right now, I'm going to start casting Detect Magic as a ritual.
Okay.
So I want to be able to see glowy stuff when we go in there.
Okay.
All right, well, I guess let's head to the...
And how much are the rooms, Owen? Sorry.
He pulls out his book. Well, if you're looking for the same rooms, I believe, that you had last time, be gold per night.
Thank you.
Per room.
Yeah. Sorry, Wellesley.
No, you're good. Let's go. We need to have a conversation with the speaker.
Indeed, we do.
Now turn and walk out.
Okay. You head back outside into the frigid streets.
All right, we're going to that Great Hall.
Okay.
With the smoke and stuff.
Let's see. Pull us back over here. Targos. So you make your way around. You start to see the pillars of smoke become more and more pronounced. And you start to hear just the low murmur of lots of voices just sort of talking. When you turn the corner and you see kind of the large town hall there, you see a large gathering of people. They look like they're forming a line of some sort, kind of leading up to the steps of town hall.
Is I'm gonna start walking around the line.
Okay. As you make your way past people, the further you get ahead, the more kind of murmuring you hear. And eventually a large man kind of steps out and says, "Hey, no skipping!"
Do you see who we're with?
I like to walk up behind Wilzu. We ain't skipping.
Right, so get to the back of the line.
We're not
I
here
said, do
for
you
this.
see who we're with?
There's
We're not
no
here for
way
the
to
stew.
handle this than immediate aggression.
No, it's like, oh, this is hype. This is hype. Is this sounding
We're not here for the
funny?
food, sir. We're not here for the stew.
Indeed, unless you
That's
intend...
exactly what someone would say who'd want to cut line.
We were giving out autographs, but fine. Just forget it.
Unless you want to go out into the tundra and complete a contract for us in our stead, please step aside so that we may see the speaker and proceed with our goddamn jobs.
So
A
much for
couple of
aggression.
guards step up and say, "Hey, what's going on over here?"
I will walk up to him and say, Wes, here to see the speaker. Not for food, for business.
Speaker's busy.
Is he? I look over at all. I'm going to see if anyone's going to react first before I do something.
You see at this point the murmuring of the people have all kind of stopped, and they're all just kind of looking at you and the guards.
Do you want me
fight,
to create
fight,
a scene? I
fight.
can do it. I can say that. What's that? I need to see the speaker.
Sandy, do you think we could get rich, just the two of us?
Are you familiar with the Ice Dagger Killer, by chance, sir?
Legend.
Legend. Legend. Now look around at the people. He says it's a legend. Surely you all think the same, right? You should ask Bryn Shander how much of a legend it is when they found people with frozen knives stuck in them.
It was not us.
Perhaps I should take this legendary information not from me, sir. But I would like to let your speaker know what we know. But of course, we can simply take this information and vanish, since clearly none of you care.
You have an appointment.
Appointment?
We
Of
have
course not. This is an emergency, you dimwit.
I go behind my back.
We did
and
request
I scribble
one.
an appointment with my.
Make a sleight of hand check.
We're trying to throw everything we can at him.
Natural 20.
Yo!
You go behind Sandy's back and you kind of scribble something.
Appointment.
It just says like, meeting with speaker
Official business.
now.
An appointment, you say, sir. As it happens, I do have an appointment.
He grabs the piece of paper and looks at it.
Natural
Looks
20.
at
I
the back.
can't believe it. A freaking miracle.
Fine. He looks to the line of people. Move out of the way. Let him through. And you hear the whole line just, oh, what the? Oh, what? Just from the whole, just groans and cussing as the guards kind of clear the path. And you see up the staircase, you see the speaker. And he's kind of wrapped up, but he is definitely wearing kind of some nicer looking garb than the rest of the folks, and it's only him, a couple of obvious guards up there, and then someone else that's up there kind of dipping out the stew.
Wow, Sucinda, that was I just brushed past the guard. And yeah, we're gonna approach the speaker.
Okay. He looks down at you and then up at you and then over at you, Aramil, and you, Sucinda, and says, "Can I help you?"
Indeed you can. It is extremely important that we speak with you in private. Be it to the side or in a room, your choice. Makes no difference. But this is for your ears, no one else's.
He kind of pulls down his kind of face covering. Looks like this here. And he says, "Important news, huh? My guards just let you through? All right." And he kind of pulls you over to the side.
And so we're away from like where everyone's feeding people and whatnot.
Yeah. "What do you want, Wass?"
So you're familiar with us then.
"I'm familiar with many things."
That saves a little bit of time then. So no beating around the bush and bullshitting.
He kind of leans up. There's a couple of fires, kind of medium-sized bonfires on either side of the steps. And it's kind of keeping you all warm up there. But he's sort of leaning against the wall with his arms crossed. One leg also kind of his foot up against the wall as he's looking at you. Very relaxed.
I kind of sigh and look down a bit. Look, my frustrated expression disappears, and now I look like I'm about to deliver disappointing news. As I'll say, I'm aware that you have gained the capability to feed your entire town very recently. I'm not quite sure how. I heard a rumor on how, and I don't believe it, frankly. But you now have a cauldron that just appeared, suddenly. And you can feed everyone.
Well, it didn't just appear suddenly. It was brought to us.
Brought to you. By whom?
Bellara.
Valara.
Bellara.
I see.
He points over there, across the way. I say over there. That's a couch. He points across the way to the person doling out.
Is it below?
Is it Prudence? Is it Prudence?
They're wrapped up.
Is there anything glowing when I look over there with my detect magic
The
on?
cauldron is.
Okay, but nothing else? Okay.
He says, she brought it. Well, not directly to me, but eventually brought it to me.
And did she say how she acquired it?
She did. She's been staying at the Luskin Arms since she arrived in town. If you'd like to ask her, you can.
Indeed I would. But I have, information that you should be privy to, but first, I'm afraid that must take precedence. So if you'll excuse me, you can get back to your duties for a moment, unless anyone wanted
Perhaps
to
we
say
should
something.
call them into an office and we can speak behind closed doors.
I don't think he has time for that. He would have taken us to an office if he did,
I
right?
do not have time for
He
that.
does not have time for that.
That is a pity. Okay.
I'm sure you've heard of the Ice Dagger Killer.
Yes, sure.
Let's
What does
get
he
to
have to
that
do
in
with
a
any of
moment.
this?
We'll tell you in a moment.
A little unrelated, but important news. But
He kind of scrunches his face. What do you want?
we want to talk to Villara first.
Balara.
Villar.
All right. Wait here.
Thanks for your time.
And he gets up. He puts his face mask back up. He walks over to the person standing over there, leans over and kind of whispers something to her. She looks over at you all, and you can tell now it's kind of a feminine figure underneath the clothes and or underneath their kind of winter garb. And she comes over to you, says, yes, can I help you?
It's a prudence.
You can,
Still covered up.
Villara. Do you know who we are first?
No.
I can barely hear you. Do you mind
think-
pulling down your face
Are
covering?
you Wes?
Darling, I can barely hear. Can you cover? I can't hear you. Can you?
She says, sure. And pulls down her face.
Is it prudence?
Make an investigation check.
How quick can we kill somebody and run away?
That seems pretty good.
13.
So looking at, she looks familiar, but a lot of people around here look very. It's
She looks familiar enough for me to kill her.
so it's kind of one of those things. Everybody's kind of just covered head to toe, and you just kind of have a face. And there's a lot of rough-looking people. Not everybody's fair, and like you would see in the upper. Like if there was a speaker in Waterdeep or something like that, they would definitely be living much more luxuriously than this. So, she says, the speaker said you wanted to know how I found the cauldron.
Yes, it is such a magical. I mean, it just seems so cool. How did you ever come across it?
While Sin's talking, I'd like to just say prudence, but I'm trying to get someone's attention, but I think I know who they are, but I don't know who they are. Kind of
She
thing.
doesn't even make eye contact with you.
Okay.
And she says, well, if you want the story, sure. I've told it maybe a dozen times now, but...
1,001. Perfect.
Right. Well, she says, I found it in the snowdrifts on my way back here from Bryn Shand. Stop looking at me like that. She...
Yeah,
I don't know if y'all see it.
Balara.
She's looking at me like this.
That's Sin's
I
face.
can't keep it straight.
Snowdrifts.
Sure.
This is why I'll never be on SNL. She said, I found it in the snowdrifts on my way back from Bryn Shander. I went there to get more oil and wood for Targos.
Oh.
A blizzard damn near buried me. It came out of nowhere and just my sled was gone. I tried to turn around and make it back to Bryn Shander, but I must have found my way deeper into the tundra. I saw something in the distance, and turned out to be this. She kind of motions back to the cauldron. I did the only thing I could think to do was crawl inside and shield myself from the wind until the blizzard subsided. There was a body holding on to it, frozen. There was nothing I could do for whoever that was, but I stayed there until the blizzard passed. Even still, I thought I would freeze to death. I brought it back as a memento more than anything, to something that saved my life. And once I was back, I decided, well, what other use do I have from it than to perhaps put some snow in it and boil it and make some water? Half the lake is frozen, and once it started heating up, it started smelling more and more delicious. I took a bite, and it was stew. So I kept trying it, and it kept working a few times per day. I have lived here for quite a while, and I brought it to Speaker Nerth in hopes of making a name for my family and myself, all that's left, and to help the people here, to feed them. Ever since the lake froze over, the fish have been slowly dwindling. And Speaker Nerth has been setting up here a few times a day, feeding the people, and they've decided to contribute to the overall well-being of the town. They bring fish or oil in exchange for the stew, and then those who come to us and need oil or wood or fish, we're able to give it to them.
The poor helpless being that you found clutching to the cauldron. Do you know what they look like? I'm just that poor person. Was it a human?
It was a human, yes.
Oh.
What happened to the body?
There was nothing I could do. I buried it in the snow. It was frozen like a rock, completely. Skin was black with frostbite.
Oh, the poor young man.
And the woman.
Oh, it was a woman. Oh, wow.
She kind of narrows her eyes at you.
You should insight if you're gonna. I'm gonna insight if no one else is inciting.
Make an insight check.
I was about to say, how does she sound saying this story? Is she...
10.
She seems pretty believable.
And you were strong enough to lift the cauldron yourself?
Oh, I didn't lift it, I dragged it.
You
Turns out I wasn't too far from Targos, but I don't know if you've ever been stuck in a blizzard, but it's almost impossible to see.
Yes.
We definitely have been stuck in a blizzard.
I
The more
dragged
she's
it
talking,
through the
does she
snow.
seem more familiar to me at all?
Not particularly.
Still, it's my cauldron, not hers.
Well-
She says, the woman, I don't know who she was. I do have a confession. I did take her coat. Mine was soaking wet. Her undercoat was fairly dry. So I suppose I stole from the dead.
Are you wearing it now?
Yes.
There's not a chance a label on the inside with a name, is it?
Looks like a pretty standard, nothing super
We didn't
fancy.
even see that name. We didn't even see that coat.
She said, but I buried the woman in the snow as best I could without freezing my hands off.
Well then, miraculous that you found it and brought it back.
Miraculous, lucky, either way, it benefits our people. Benefits 10 towns.
Indeed it does. This 10 towns in specific as opposed to another. But Lars, I believe that's all the questions we have for you for now. We need to talk to your speaker again, I'm afraid.
Okay.
Thank you.
She puts her face mask back up, heads back, and just taps the speaker on the shoulder. And he comes back over, and she goes back to handing out. And you see people are bringing up fish and, kind of decanters of oil and things like that. And there are a couple of guards that are coming up and getting it, kind of taking it off to the side to a little storage house.
Is the speaker back with us?
Mhm.
Okay. I'll just cross my arms and I'll just look up at him. So a little bit of history about that cauldron you possess now. I'll just go ahead and...
Can I look real quick for where the exits are?
I mean, it's pretty open, so there's you're kind of up on these steps that lead up to town hall, where the
And the
cauldron
cauldron is out with us,
Yeah,
okay.
you're kind of within 10 feet of the cauldron and a couple of fires. There's kind of some makeshift barricades that kind of guide the line of people up there. And then off to the side, you see kind of a small group of people with little like wooden or metal bowls that are kind of drinking stew. And then once they finish, they kind of put it on another table and leave.
Okay.
But there seem to be decent amount of guards around. Well, I say there's probably 6, 7 guards just in your immediate vicinity.
That cauldron was originally in a hag's cave that was plaguing East Haven. They were luring fishermen and murdering them there. We took care of the hag, we found this cauldron and thought it strange, so using my capabilities, and I tapped my forehead as my eyes flashed for just a moment, that cauldron I could see lit up like a Christmas tree, so I knew there was something more to it. We retrieved it, took it to East Haven, and struck a deal. They were to pay us, I believe it was 500 gold coins for it, but they were going to gather the money the next day. Next day we show up, the cauldron is stolen. We seek the entire 10 towns looking for it, asking questions to various people if they've heard of any cauldrons being laying about and whatnot, and finally, out of pure coincidence, we arrive here, and I look over at the cauldron again. There's that shining bright beacon, yet again, just in the middle of your town. You see, this puts us in a bit of a difficult position.
Indeed it does.
We're not the type to just take from the people. We're not that type of group, I like to think. However, this was an object that was stolen from East Haven, the town that this was originally promised to. Now, if I'm being absolutely blunt here, it's not like we have 100% loyalty to East Haven. We simply were selling it to them because it benefited their town, and we need coin to continue our adventuring exploits. However, here we are with no coin and no promised cauldron that you now possess.
He kind of smirks a little bit. And what proof other than your word do you have? I mean, someone from the line could walk up and say, "Oh, I found it first, and that was my wife who died. It's my cauldron. You owe me the money."
The only proof I
proof
could
do you
provide is what you already know. The first thing you told me was that you were aware of us. You've heard of our exploits and what we've done. And if you've heard correctly, we're not the type to go and take and steal and lie. We're the type to help, retrieve, and protect.
And I've seen the Dale corrupt much better men than you.
I could believe that, but to be honest, I don't really know what else to tell you, but this is the case. And I'm not asking for the cauldron back. However, if you are a man of integrity, I would ask you for some sort of recompense.
So you're calling Balara a liar?
The woman seemed to tell a true tale. She found it out in the tundra, which, to be honest, I still don't believe. Whether or not she's lying, I'm afraid I don't have the magics to verify that quite yet, but give me a day or two, and I will. I could verify it then if you'd prefer, but to be honest, it's up to you where you want to go at this crossroads.
Do you have
So you're
community?
shaking me down, then?
I wouldn't
And
necessarily
even
call it a
if
shakedown.
she were to be telling the truth, that does not mean that our story is not the truth also. If Balara is a honest person,
What is that saying about possession in the law?
that if you possess something that is mine, I will get it back or recuperate my funds. Yes, that is right.
He looks over to you, Sandy, and says, "I don't think that's it." But
Possession is 9/10 the law. Well, unfortunately, this is that case where it is the other 1 out of 10%, or 1 out of 10. Okay? You know, there's the exception to the rule. This is the exception. 1 out of 10. 9/10 the law. This
or-
is the 1 out of 10.
Or what about this? Do you have communication with East Haven? Contact with them.
fuck East Haven.
I'm willing to go in that boat as well if you're willing to work with us. If you're willing to walk away, well, I'm not threatening you, but know that this is not over.
That sounds like
Sounds like a threat.
that sounds like a threat. Will
Take it how you will. I'm just being
Shame,
honest.
shame. I know your name.
He says, I'll tell you what. How much did East Haven promise you?
East Haven promised 500 gold pieces.
And he's going to insight check you. He's going to kind of look you up and down. Seems like it would be worth that.
To be honest, you know it's worth more, but that's how much we're willing to take to help a town.
I'll tell you what. He looks back to the line of people and says, to be honest, if we were to make this deal right now, I don't think that you'd be very popular here. Why don't you stay at the inn tonight? On me. Tell Owen that I sent you. And we can make our deal this evening.
If I could tell you how familiar that sounds, you would have no idea, because the last time I took someone up on that offer, a cauldron was stolen from us.
I'm just this behind one.
So we go to your inn,
Yeah.
we stay for the night, and then what? You get all your ducks in a row, play your cards right, figure out how to deal with us proper. Is that where we're going?
Don't even have to stay the night.
Can I incite him again? See how sincere he's being about this?
Sure. And while you're inciting him, he says, or I can tell all these fine people you've come here to take their cauldron away. You kind of hear some murmuring in the line.
Damn it, I gotta... Is that an 11? Where's insight? That's an 11.
What is it called?
You don't know if he's telling the truth or not. It's impossible to read this guy.
It's okay.
It seems
We can go back to the end.
this person has not given one tell one way or the other on anything
It's
he
fine.
said.
We can go back to the end for now.
Are you... I'll, like, double take it at her. Are you
Yeah.
sure?
Oh, I'm positive. Surely this man
We should go to the inn.
is a decent person. Yes, you are good. Okay.
I consider myself a good man.
Perfect. We will see you at the end.
Alright, well... Okay, we'll take you up on your offer and maybe hash us out in a private room. I hope to see you there. Please, no backstabbing or anything. Please. We really, really don't want... We don't want to take this away from your people, okay? We don't want to go that route, so please don't force this on us. Is all I ask.
He says, backstabbing is in my past.
No, that's comfy. Okay, well,
It is no problem, really. We will see you later. Bye-bye.
indeed. Well, see you in this evening.
Isn't out of character? Isn't Nerth from
Luskin.
Luskin? I look at him again when he says that, just like who is this guy? Like,
He just and he actually returns the look to you and kind of looks you up and down.
I'll turn to leave. I got nothing else.
With my background, specifically the better side of me, is there anything that I would see with any of the townspeople relating to that? That's an H.
No.
Shame. Okay.
Okay, what are we all doing?
I already turned around and leave. I'm waiting on them.
Turn around, headed to the inn.
Same. As we're walking, I imagine there's like no one around us. Right?
Well, you kind of pass through a crowd because it's
Okay.
like people are kind of filtering out after finishing eating.
As we're walking, in a hushed voice, then I say, "It would truly be a shame if they do not give it to us, and we just so happen to sneak in and murder one person every night, one for each of us, so 4 people a day. Oh, shame, shame. I hate it for them. I wonder who's killing all of these people. Who's killing all the guardsmen?" That is our cauldron. I don't care how they got it. It is ours.
Yeah.
Are we still by the speaker? Hold
You're
on.
kind of walking
we're
away, I'm assuming, yeah.
You didn't say that loud, did
Also,
you?
No,
I
I
just-
said I
oh,
was
just
whispering it to you
whisper.
guys.
Also, I just noticed on stream, it looks like this man's just like looking down
Hey.
at my shoulder, and it's making me uncomfortable a little bit.
Am I?
No, the
Oh.
guy on the screen.
Yeah, he is.
Like,
He's standing
get-
right at the back of your head, dude.
Stop looking at me, Nerth. I'm
I
going
do
back.
have one more idea
going
if
back
you want
to
to
this.
get it without them without a conflict.
Yes.
I can
For the
cast-
first time, yes.
I can cast a magical darkness around it. No one can see inside. We can cast the darkness. We can go. I can go get. I can walk up it disguised as somebody else. Boom! Magical darkness. I go back the way I came. Cauldron is ours now. Magic.
What? What is
I feel like if we just vanished right after it vanished, they'd put 2 and 2 together, and it'd be the same as taking it in broad daylight.
Then I guess I
now,
have to
how
murder
big this
everybody.
darkness area can you do? Like a town?
No.
I think it could be
we go at
centered on
night.
something.
Still go. It's fine. No? Okay. Murder it is.
Okay, so we're heading back to.
So we went from
Tavern.
wanting to kill everyone,
Yeah.
now we just want to steal it.
I guess we'll figure it out. I don't know.
And then we're blackmailing the speaker.
Blackmail's not the right word.
It is the right word.
No, we don't have anything on him. What do you have on him?
Well, you were blackmailing him that if we didn't get what we wanted, there'd be consequences.
We will figure something out if he's
He
not
did
willing
say
to deal.
that.
I think that's more of a threat.
Yeah, it's more
Yeah,
of a
it's
threat.
more of a threat.
Yeah, I told him it wasn't a threat to try to make it
Is-
softer, but it was absolutely a threat.
Is it possible that the body frozen was Prudence?
Could be.
Yeah, it's possible. It was a woman's coat.
Wish we
I
could
don't
have seen the
care
name
who
of
it
it.
was.
Or there could be no body.
And she was originally from.
She could have been headed here, got frozen out there.
They keep the townskeeper person I don't know what they're called.
There.
He probably hired Prudence to go do it anyway. So at the end of the day, still our cauldron. They stole.
Knowing where he came from, that's probably not out of the realm of possibilities.
He did say he didn't like Easthaven.
Visitor, let me ask you a question, actually, just to see
Yes.
how you align with this. A child is holding a golden ruby. You know it's your golden ruby, but it's been missing for a few years. You walk up to the child and say, "That's my golden ruby. It was originally mine. May I have it back?" And he says, "But I was going to sell this to feed my family." What do you say?
I am so sorry about your family, but it is still mine. Actually, I would create something maybe that looked like it and say, "Oh, look over there," and then I would take what is mine, give them the fake one, and be about my business. That is what I would really
You
do.
can make that family just one less mouth to feed.
That's what I thought you were going to say. Kill the kids so the
Solutions.
family is better.
Yeah. Either way.
That sounds kind of evil,
No,
doesn't
it's
it?
not evil. I'm taking what is mine. It is my possession.
If what's
I
yours
give them
gets,
something fake that looks just like it.
if what's yours kills other people,
How
but you
does it
still
kill
take
them?
it, so you are kind of responsible for those deaths, but you don't care.
How
Does-
does it kill them, though?
So they're going to die without this food. The ruby's going to get them coin. You take the potential for the coin away, they starve and freeze.
Can I just give them a ration? They have to be dying. These people in this town are not dying. They just don't like the fish. That's not my problem.
It's
Just
just,
hate it for your taste buds. Get used to it.
it's just in the hero business. You just have to consider these things. Sometimes.
I'm not necessarily good. I am neutral. It is mine.
Meta.
Well,
Let's just hope the speaker comes tonight and we talk.
If I were evil, I
We-
would say something like,
Let's murder all the
let's-
people one by
let's-
one, the guards
let's
for our
cast
entire
your-
party.
Let's cast your fireball all across the town. Burn the
God.
place to the ground.
cast it
That-
point blank on the cauldron.
Blame it on the dragon.
Yeah.
The dragon.
Did you see it? This
The
was flying
Avaricious.
above
The
us.
monster.
Wait, didn't a creature
The
fly
Loch-Ness
towards this
Monster.
place earlier? You guys said?
Yes.
Yeah.
Have we seen any weird bird things flying around like that?
You have not seen any creatures flying around, no.
Okay. Okay, which
So-
is going to the inn?
See, I'm just
Before-
asking to burn the city down.
Let's walk and talk. We should consider this. Consider the option that Nerth gathers the town guard and makes sure we don't leave here. What if he thinks of that?
We kill them all.
Or make sure we never are allowed back in here and escorts us out of town.
If he wants to go that route, I am working on magics that can get places and do things regardless. If you want to do something about it, but then we have to ask the question, are you willing to go that far? And to be honest, if I'm being totally honest, and all of you are going to disagree with this, I would be fine letting it go in the end.
Oh yeah, I'm ready to let it go.
Well, that's two.
I'll take his head.
That's one against.
I think it's our cauldron.
That's two against. So here we are. So
If we are evicted from the town, I will just disguise myself and come back in.
sure, but what happens when they attack you? If they find you out?
Right.
I have a necklace that will revive me.
That is not the. Yeah, and what happens after that?
What if they cut your head off?
I have friends. I have family.
We've killed things that were much more dangerous than this guard.
That's not a matter of danger, Sandy. It's a matter of morals.
Right. Us killing the guard is not of their doing. Either way, the cauldron came to this town one way or the other.
Or we just
Well,
tell
in
Easthaven they stole it.
business, if you buy something
Right.
and it's
Civil
stolen,
war between the towns.
then the law is that it still goes back to the original owner, even if you know, in my business law, growing up, that is the law. So it is still our cauldron by the law.
I mean, Nerth is right. We have zero proof of our story.
Just our history and what we've done.
That's it. All words. And he is correct.
Hmm?
Anyone in town could say, "Oh, that was my cauldron."
Yeah, but they aren't
What
a
makes
badass
the
adventuring
difference? Right. So we've killed things and they haven't.
group. We've
still-
cleansed cultists from a whole keep.
Yes, but yes, I'm not disagreeing with our deeds. We still have zero evidence of what we've done with the
We
cauldron.
fought off a Yeti family.
We have no,
DM, if I disclose my harpy status to the townsperson,
Harpy status. Harper?
Harper status, Harper, whatever.
Happy Harper.
And I'm like, look, I'm a believable person. I'm being honest with you. This is my fucking cauldron. I want my money. Do you think he'd
want my
believe me
money.
then?
I mean, that's something Sucinda needs to decide what the risk and reward is there. What's the potential reward of telling people you're a Harper, and what's the potential
Right, maybe
risk?
he's a jagoff and he's Zentarum.
Nerth is
He's an asshole, so he probably is bad, so never mind.
seeing Cicinda like debating her head. Nerth is from a town of criminal activity.
Yeah, I don't need to
He
disclose
is-
that.
Poker face, stone-willed.
Strap said he used to backstab people, so
Yes.
There's that.
Oh yes, he is
See,
for
he's
sure.
a criminal.
He is for sure a criminal and a
Why
murderer.
are we wanting this asshole to keep our
I
cauldron?
can't recall his name.
I'm
though.
with you. Kill them all.
Kill them
can't-
all.
I don't. That name doesn't ring a bell to me from then. No.
It's either we kill them all, or we tell Easthaven and start a civil war.
You know, we may be onto something.
I mean, if he
You
could have
know
just
that
sent
they
a
stole
letter,
our cauldron.
we could have just sent a letter to East Haven.
Wilzu, your neck is getting tired from just...
we're skipping the wait and see what happens tonight thing still. Doesn't have to be kill him or start a civil war yet.
Yes, B.R. Smith, I agree with you. Burn it all down. That's what
We are
I'm
not
talking
burning-
about.
We're not burning this town down.
B.R. Smith, thank you
B.R.
for the
Smith,
sub, my friend.
you are right, my friend.
No,
Evil.
no, we are not. We are. Then what makes us the difference between the dark dwarves if we're just burning the towns down?
I was just kidding with that, but I was being serious that I do want our cauldron or our money.
Let's see what the speaker offers.
Okay.
Just substitute cauldron with Chardolin.
Yeah, the Dark Dwarfs do think all of Charlene is theirs, so There is that. There's good analogy.
But the difference is, again, the Chardolin, whatever with the Chardolin. We killed the hag. The hag had the cauldron. The cauldron became ours.
It would be
We
the
fought for
sorry,
it.
go ahead.
We fought for that cauldron. We could have died. Had it not been for us, the cauldron would not have been found and it would not have been able to be stolen. It was our cauldron.
It would be the irony of ironies that if we find out the Dark Dwarves originally had all this Chardolin and then someone took it from them, now they want it back. It would be the ultimate irony.
But the Chardolin, no. Take your Chardolin. Do your evil doings. I'm just kidding. It's fine. They're evil. It's fine. It's different. They're evil.
We should prepare for implied armed conflict tonight.
If they try to send someone, we'll be ready. I will make sure my eyes stay nice and lit up, so any magical approaches I will know coming.
Was there a second floor to the inn or no?
Nope. Single floor. Lots of rooms. And then just the one large room.
Yeah, whenever we get there, I'm just going to hang out in the lounge and just wait.
Okay.
Should we buy an inn? A room? Should we buy a room at the inn?
Well, he said to drop his name and we could have rooms for the
No, yeah, that's right.
So, yeah, do that.
Should we stay in those rooms?
I will not be going to sleep until he shows up.
Just call me paranoid.
I want to have the discussion first. Because he may be pulling us in like y'all are saying, he may come with guards and do some stuff. He may be sitting us down and be like, look, here's the deal. And then we hear him out. I don't know. Until we go and we wait. Discussing all these in-game plans when we don't... We need to prepare for an ambush or a civil discussion first.
Are you getting hungry, Wilzu? Do we need to eat?
A little bit, yes.
You're not yourself.
It's like,
when you're
here's step
angry.
2, but you guys are like, on step 5, we do this. It's like...
Let's see if we can get some
Should have
hash
gotten some
browns.
stew.
Too soon. Too soon. Let's go back to the Luskan Arms. And
Okay.
prepare.
So we're heading back to the inn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I'm going to chain ritual cast detect magic so I
Okay.
can be aware of stuff.
And with that, we're going to take a quick 10-minute break because I've got to go to the bathroom real bad for like 20 minutes.
Sorry.
So hang out with us. We'll be right back, pick up where we left off, and see what happens with this whole cauldron thing. So, be right back. And we are back. Thank you for hanging in there with us, everybody. We're going to do a little bit of fast forward. So let me do a little bit of quick math here. So, you go back to the tavern. What's everybody doing once you get back to the tavern?
Owen, tell me everything you know about Nerth.
So you're talking with,
Yeah.
I'll be sitting in the lounge area, just kind of reading.
okay.
I'm looking for a back end exit. Again, I'm ready to cast magical darkness and escape.
With us?
I'd have my rope ready and be like, hold this, and then I'd just pull you guys out.
I got up here. Yeah, I'll leave that up there. So you're asking Owen about Nerth. He says, well, he's been a strong leader for Targos. It's been rough times, and he seems to have pulled us through. People see him as cold and calculating, but sometimes that's what's required of a strong leader. And when you are dealing with circumstances like we are currently dealing with, I don't see a better alternative. At least not anyone here.
Right. I've spent time in the city he's from, but I don't remember hearing his name from there. How long has he been in Tin Towns?
Most people from Luskin, well, they tend to keep a low profile. It tends to extend one's lifespan. I'm sure you're aware of that.
Still here.
Indeed. He's been here for a few years.
He doesn't have any nicknames or anything, does he?
Not that I'm aware of. But between him and his captain, they run a pretty tight ship here, and although the fish have been dwindling, from what I hear, this cauldron is kind of, I guess you could say, sparking the economy back.
He did say we could stay here for free tonight.
Indeed. I take your word for it. And if not, you'll have the bill under your door.
Yes. What rooms did he give us? Do you give us?
You'll be staying in rooms 3 and 4. And he kind of points. It's mainly kind of along that northern wall.
Yeah. Does that look like down the path or not at all?
Yeah, so if I pull back up
I'm looking for a lookout. See what's coming.
So if we go back to the Luskin Arms here.
Yeah.
It's basically kind of like this 3rd and 4th room here.
Yeah.
It's like in here and in here.
Vilzu.
Oh.
I have racked my memory about
Okay.
stolen goods. I remember
Well, thank you, Owen.
the law states that
Here we go with the law scholar Sin.
I come
I didn't
from
know your background was in law.
criminals, so
It's
you don't
actually-
have to
it's
know the
bird
law.
law.
Is it bird law? Show me your hands. I'll bigger your hands.
Yeah. Can you do them in front of mine?
If you buy something that is stolen, it is still the person who is the rightful owner's possession. Because a reasonable person would have known, oh, this seems to be too good of a deal. Oh, I get a free cauldron for nothing.
I don't think Speaker Nerth questions the law. Just we don't have proof. We have no evidence of that.
But a reasonable person would know. Surely he does not get
Upon
a free
convincing
cauldron.
evidence, yes. That's our folly in the matter.
Mm-hmm.
We have no claim to the cauldron beside word.
All right, if you guys okay. Whatever, it's just fine.
We're not trying to fight with you, Sin. We just don't have claim to the cauldron.
I can draw a deed to the cauldron.
So
Oh, we forgot this earlier.
a few hours pass, and any of you who need to take a short rest can.
Can I take it?
If you have wanted to eat anything, you can subtract about 5 silver from your coins, just from the inn there.
I will eat something while waiting.
And we won't go into too much detail into all that right now. But about, I don't know, hours pass.
I want to look out the window, just trying to watch.
Okay. So you kind of bide your time between sitting at the table, looking out the window, talking with Owen, talking with, amongst each other,
Okay.
checking out the local dogs, dog cam. Hey, Ladybug, you a good girl. Yes, you are. Yeah.
Hi, lady.
And hours pass. But eventually you see a group of people approaching the inn. You see a bundled up speaker, Nerth, followed by 4 guards who are carrying the cauldron with them. And they approach the front doors. The doors open. Nerth walks in, looks at you. I assume you're all out front.
I'd still be sitting down.
Like you're out in the front room.
Yeah, and just lounge.
I would say that, like, as soon as I see him, like, I'd whisper that to everybody, just 4 guards in the speaker.
Any reactions?
No, just sitting staring stoically.
So they they walk in. Nerth comes in and kind of shakes the snow off of him a little bit. Pulls his hood back, his kind of face covering down. He looks at you. Specifically you, Wilzu, since you were the one talking to him before.
Oh,
says,
I'd have my corn pipe in too. Just chilling. Yeah.
He says, make yourself at home. I'll be with you in a bit. And he kind of motions back to his guards, and they follow him with the cauldron. You see him kind of turn down the hallway like this, and then you see him disappear around that corner there. What are we all doing right now?
I just watch him go down the hallway and just take a few more puffs. Just sit there.
Okay.
What's everybody else doing?
Just waiting for him to come back, post it up, kind of lean
pacing.
up against a wall.
Pacing my anxiety out.
The time passes a little bit, and Owen stands up and looks at you all and kind of nods and says, "Well, you know your rooms. I'm sure the speaker will come for you when he is ready for you." And he starts to make his way down the hall until he disappears around the corner.
I guess that was a good night.
I would assume so.
Off the clock, I guess.
And you look outside, you see it's very dark. And some time passes, and you see 4 guards come around the corner, walk down the hallway, and they sort of look at you. They don't stop, they just sort of glance at you and walk out the door. And you are, at the moment, alone in the front room.
It was kind of weird being in the tavern. No one else was around, huh? It's like, this is our tavern now or something. You know what I mean? It's like weird.
Yeah, you could go sit in the chair and look like you're accepting the next guest.
Huh? Yeah, that'd be kind of fun, actually. And someone walked in, hey, we were a traveler? I've never been an innkeeper before.
Welcome to the Luskin Arms. How many nights do you need to stay? Or whatever you say.
Yeah.
5 gold a night.
Yeah, normally I'd be down to actually just do that.
We'll put you in room 3 and 4. That's a little sublease.
Is the fireplace still going, or would it be out
It
now?
is. It's going.
I'm gonna go just hang out in front of it.
Okay. How long are we wanting to wait?
Since he went back, I'd say about 30 minutes is good prep time, right? What do y'all think?
Okay.
For whatever his hell he's wanting to do.
Okay. About 15 minutes passes. And,
How thick are the walls, by the way, going to that room?
not very.
Okay, there's something... I've been chain running detect magic, just to be sure here. Kind of looking in over there occasionally. Let me see if... Where the hell's my detect magic? There it is. Penetrate most barriers blocked by 1 foot of stone, 1 inch of metal, a thin sheet of lead, or 3 feet of wood or dirt. Are they 3 feet thick?
They're not 3 feet thick. Hell no.
Okay, so I'm making sure the cauldron's still there, just looking in there
Yeah,
occasionally.
you can see a faint glow.
Okay.
The glow is coming from around this area.
Gotcha. Damn, I should just run this forever. Always be concentrating. I have blue eyes now.
Hey, ABC, bro. All you be concentrating.
Just chilling.
Okay, so yeah, about 15 minutes pass. And about that time you hear footsteps coming around the hallway. And you see a red, kind of armored tiefling. Long horns. Come around and says... There's that cough again. Nerth will see you now.
Ah, very well. Then we shall see Nerth. And I'll kind of motion at him and look confused.
Scath.
Scath. We'll see Nerth.
Captain Scath.
Oh, the captain. Well met, Captain. Hopefully, we can be in and out here. It sounds like you really aren't too fond of us here either, so we'll be trying to be quick, because we also would like to be gone.
This way. And he
I'll put my pipe out.
kind of leads you along the way. And you find yourself back in that familiar hallway that you had hidden yourself in
And eavesdropped.
before. And he opens up the double doors for you and says, "Be waiting right out of here."
Very well.
We all going?
Yep.
Okay. You enter the room, and Nerth is standing next to a chair in front of the fireplace. He looks back to you and says, "So, our deal. Refresh my memory."
Very well. We claim we found the cauldron originally. We technically have no proof other than our history as WAS, which I think you're aware of. We are trying to get some sort of compensation for it, as this was promised to East Haven, and alas, it's here now because it was found in a tundra by one frozen dead person. Mind you, the people of East Haven were imprisoned. I did not mention this. The guards and whatnot, we had to rescue them. The cauldron was stored down there as well at the time. So, little odd that it just is in one person's arms in the middle of nowhere, but we're setting that aside to simply discuss what you can offer us, and we can be done.
He walks around to the chair and takes a seat. And he kind of motions for you to take a seat as well in the chair in front of the fireplace. And it's kind of roaring.
How many chairs are there?
Just 2.
I'll look at everyone else and I'll kind of just motion at the seats, see if anyone wants to chill.
I'm gonna kind of stand at the door.
Yeah, I'll walk up and just sit down then.
Okay.
Howell also, is there another empty seat?
There is a table over here with a couple of seats at it.
Is there a door at the back?
The door is right here where Scath is.
Okay.
It's
I'll
like
take the
set
far
of
right
double
seat
doors.
then.
So you'll take this seat over here?
Yeah.
Okay. So you sit there. Sandy, you're kind of standing
As
by
long
the
as
door.
I can still hear the conversation, mind you.
Aramel?
I'll just lean on the wall over there by the table.
Okay. You see this is just kind of one big room. There is a door over here to the side. And Wilzu, you can see the glow kind of coming through that wall.
Can we pretend I pulled the chair up, actually? I want to be part of the conversation. I don't want to be all the way down.
You scoot it up?
Yeah, you just scoot it up?
Yeah.
Okay. Nerith kind of looks over at you and smirks a little bit. And he says, so, you're looking for compensation.
We were seeking the cauldron itself for a long time to get what we're owed. Now we are not seeking the cauldron, as we see its use, but only something on your end.
Money.
Well, technically, it was money originally with the other town, but if you're offering something else that can take its place, we're all ears. We are here to deal.
Do you have someone of magic ability who can cast truth or anything like that? Truthful magic. Make us criminal interrogation, truth? No? Yes? That doesn't
What are you inferring?
cast it on us.
There are ways to ensure no one's lying with magics. I'm afraid I don't possess them quite yet. I might, but that's all he was offering. But from your expression, it sounds like no one of that nature is here, so...
It's not necessary here.
Oh. Wait, so you believe us?
He kind of looks down and just into the fire for a minute. And turns back to you, just his head. I believe you. I don't allow just anyone to walk into my home. I
look around at the end room, the large end room.
it looks okay. You still hear rats kind of scurrying through the walls. This is a very Luskin-esque inn here. He says, most people are put off by this place, but truth be told, it reminds me of home.
Home? Luskin? Luskin? Okay.
He says, snoring over there. He says, just by me having you here should infer a certain amount of trust.
Oh. Okay, well...
Normally it's just me and my captain.
I see. And your captain's right outside. Scath, was it?
Scath.
Stoic fellow. Very... I didn't really get a good read on him. Seems, intense.
Don't cross him.
No, we don't want to.
He kind of laughs. He says, what was it East Haven was offering you for the cauldron?
500 gold pieces.
500. Quite steep. But it is quite the cauldron, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd say so. Infinite food for as long as you keep it safe.
He looks at you and then he kind of glances over at the rest of you. You leave the cauldron with me. You don't speak a word of it. The issue's done. I give you 400 right now on the spot.
I said that's fine.
Well, we weren't really seeking 100% of the funds or anything. We were just looking for a way for this to be done. So 400 sounds...
And this requires your discretion.
What cauldron do you speak of?
Exactly.
Oh, I understand. Look, I just wanted to be compensated for the evil hag. That is all I want.
I know it's a matter of time until East Haven hears of Targos feeding its people stew.
No doubt.
It's knucklehead to stew. It is fine. Maybe you should have your people start.
But
with
I don't need any
knucklehead.
more complications.
Once we're done here, we actually have a list of all the things we have to take care of, and this will be
It's
crossed.
plentiful.
Meaning we won't be approaching it again. We'll have completed what we set out to do. And after this, it's a cabin in the woods, if you were curious.
I wasn't.
Well, fair enough.
We should say that the Zentarum was involved in East Haven.
Ah, that is accurate. The Zentarum, we believe, were the ones that shackled everybody up down in their own dungeon, and potentially took the cauldron. I guess that was worth
Zentarum.
noting.
Up here.
You want to know what else is up here?
What would the Zentarum want up here?
I don't know. Why are there evil underground dwarves that want to destroy the entire north and the world?
'Cause that's where they live, and that's what they do.
Well, they're a fake too, and there they are. We've killed quite a few.
Zentarum's quite real, though. You've never run into one?
I've read about them, is the best I could say. I don't think I've actually encountered one before, unless they were sneaky about it.
Fair enough. Coming from a city like Luskan, you learn a thing or two. I'm sure your friend over there has heard of the Zentarum.
Yeah, I guess so. Randall's heard of a lot of stuff. He's actually, hey,
I just like.
I won't ask about it right now. We're talking about other stuff. Yeah, I guess so.
And he kind of looks you up and down. Yeah, you look like you're from Luskan. You've been there.
I spent some
dress-
time.
Similarly to someone I used to know. Spend much time on the sea.
Dash. It's not pleasant.
Right.
Oh,
So, 400, your discretion.
400 were gone, and the cauldron's your problem. But if you want it retrieved, you can hire us to get it later. Adventuring joke.
He kind of looks down and says, I know you're joking, but in case you're not, Scath has had people's heads on pikes for less.
May I recommend one thing to you, though? Balara does seem a bit familiar to me. My one recommendation, if anything, is perhaps you go to investigate that there really was a dead body of the person with the cauldron.
That's gonna be hard to find now, but yeah, maybe.
She told the tale of, oh, I buried the body. This is just me going above and beyond, look. I'm just happy to be compensated for the evil hag that we had to murder for the cauldron. Truly grateful. Thank you so much for your generosity. But in good faith, I must say, her face does look familiar to me. I cannot place. So I just want to say, to clear my conscience, Vilzu is always like, be a good person. Be a good person, Susinda. Be good. So as a good person, I'm just saying to you, as a good person, Vilzu, I'm saying good person, perhaps you might, what's it called? Make sure her alibi is, kosher.
Balara's under control.
Okay, look, just to clear my conscience, and Vilzu, I'm a good person. I spoke my concern. I'm a good person, Vilzu.
I think he's okay. I think he's okay now.
Okay.
I try and catch Willsy's attention. Like,
Oh, yeah, yes. So if we could have our payments, we'll be out of your hair, and the cauldron is dead to us.
What cauldron? I don't know the cauldron.
Exactly.
He nods and he gets up out of the chair and he walks over to the corner of the room. And as he gets to the corner of the room, it sort of comes alive a little bit with the sound of hissing. He kind of sighs and walks over to one of the drawers and pulls out a small wooden box. He lifts the lid and pulls out a stiff, frozen almost, stiff mouse by the tail. He walks over to his other desk where he kind of opens up a compartment there, and you see a cage, a little metal cage with some kind of creatures kind of milling around in there.
We've seen a cage like this before, haven't we?
Yes. Hissing. Coming from it. He opens up the top hatch, and he kind of holds the mouse above it, and these 3 kind of reptilian heads kind of pop out with their mouths open as he drops the mouse in there, and you kind of hear a lot of scuffling. He closes it and says, "Almost forgot it was feeding time." And he opens up another drawer as you kind of hear this cage kind of rattle around with the sound of whatever these creatures are kind of having their fill of the mouse. And he opens up a box and begins taking handfuls of coins, gold coins, putting them in a bag, cinches it. He comes back over, still holding the bag, sits down in his chair. He just looks over at you and reaches over and hands you the bag.
All right, I'll grab the bag. I'll kind of glance back over at that. Is the cage out in the open?
It's it was kind of like closed in like this kind of cupboard almost, which is closed now, but you can still kind of hear it.
I'm gonna say an offhanded comment then. While I take the bag, I'm gonna say, weird. Got some pets or something over there. Did I get a glance at them when they were? Mm-hmm. Okay, and I'll follow up with. Everybody but me said they saw some weird bird thing fly was super fast towards here too. I guess I don't know. You got pet birds or something that do that type of stuff? And I'll take the bag.
Yeah, birds. Yes.
Weird. All right. Well,
there are less efficient ways to communicate with the other towns.
Oh, you use them kind of as messengers. Wow, that's neat. Can you speak to them? You don't have to answer if you don't want to talk about them. I'm just curious.
Don't know how to speak to animals.
I will soon, and it'll be awesome. But that's neither here nor there. Thank you very much for the coin. I believe this finally concludes this stupid cauldron that disappeared on the opposite end of the tundra. And I'll hop out of the chair. And I suppose we'll be going. So whatever it is you do, keep on feeding the people and, do what you do. Oh, and I always forget this. We are Wes, here to help you out with any troubles you have. So if there's something that needs taken care of, you have any tasks that needs, dealt with, some goblins and polar bears, or perhaps some yetis or lamphead people, or
person healed. I can heal people.
Yeah, and we can heal people. So our services, or since we're neutral now, are at your disposal. So last chance before we head out.
I think we're all set here, but it's late. It's cold. The rooms are still yours if you want them, obviously.
I would say yes, but there's actually something I want to test. We'll be spending the night outside tonight.
Did he say outside?
Wilson,
We got 2 free rooms.
we have inside rooms.
It's a cool trick.
We greatly appreciate your offer, but I've been working on a little bit of magic that I want to see through.
Fair enough. Well,
Actually, there is one thing. Do you have a couple blankets we could borrow or have?
no.
We'll take the rooms.
No. Okay, Airmill and Sandy,
We
if
will
you're
take
so
the- we are
adamant,
taking-
enjoy the rooms.
We will.
Citizen, come outside with me.
I like. Look at
Magic, yes.
Wilzu. Like, we will take the rooms.
Are you okay?
Yes.
Something's wrong with your...
Yes.
Magic,
Thank
magic,
you.
yes, magic.
Thank you,
voodoo.
Speaker Nerth. And if you need our services, I feel we owe you one.
Alright,
Right.
I'll turn to leave.
You walk out the door, and Captain Scath is standing across from where the door is open. You're immediately met with his gaze, just kind of looking at you.
Whoa! Scath.
Hello,
Intimidating.
Scath.
Ooh, not just walk
I
past
mean,
him.
Captain Scott. Excuse me.
Get everything all worked out.
Yep, we are, we'll be, vamping as soon as we can.
How old is Scath? Don't know if I want to wink at him or not.
Oh. You should do it anyways. Doesn't matter.
Tell me.
He looks like 30, 40. I'm going to wink at him. Scott.
He just sort of looks at you. Up
You
and
see the
down.
hair's done. Beautiful earrings.
He just sort of looks off. and
Bye.
looks back at the room. As soon as the last one of you files out, he goes and walks into the room and closes the door.
Wilzu, we'll just take the blankets from the room. Sandy and I were on the same
take the
page.
robes and
like,
slippers too, and the shampoo.
we'll just put it back in there. Like,
That's kind of mean, right?
no.
What if we take them and then we come back and then they rented the rooms out and they have no blankets?
How long are we going to be in the snow?
Look, we might even have that stuff already.
Are we just sleeping,
I
or
already
like?
have stuff, don't I?
I thought you were like, let's do it in the backyard of the inn, and then we'll just be here.
Damn it! I don't have any. Does anyone have any blankets?
We have.
We
tents.
have.
Oh, I have a blanket. I have adventuring gear and there's a blanket in
We
there.
have one. We have one. We have one blanket.
Everybody snuggle up.
It's a thick quilted blanket to keep you warm in cold weather. Everyone should have it if you have adventuring gear.
I have a bedroll.
Just as good.
I have a tent.
Won't need it.
I'm assuming I have a bedroll in the tent.
Yeah, I have a bedroll. Didn't I steal a blanket
Wilsey,
earlier?
what are we?
I'm
What are
pretty
we doing?
positive I stole
Why
one.
are we? Why are we staying outside?
Follow me.
I have a bedroll.
I'm gonna start walking outside.
Okay.
Should we grab the sheets?
No. We all have black bedrolls and whatnot. We'll be all right.
These beds are mainly just a mattress with like one cover, and then like basically a hay-filled pillow. Until you head outside of the Luskin Arms.
Okay. Is there like a empty space of snow out there around the inn somewhere? Like not out front?
Yeah, I'd say you could walk.
Just needs to be a 10-foot radius.
Yeah, I'd say you could walk a little ways and find just kind of an open patch of snow.
Does it look like anyone comes through this patch of snow? Just part of a road.
It's kind of off the road.
Okay. Okay. Check this out. And I'm gonna hold out my hand and cast Leoman's Tiny Hut.
Okay.
That makes a 10-foot radius, a mobile dome of force, spring into existence around me, and remain stationary for the duration, which is 8 hours.
Is it like opaque? Like can
Is it
people
visible?
see in it?
Are we seen? Are we gonna be just sleeping outside?
Are
The
you
people.
sleeping in a glass house?
Creatures and objects within the dome, when you cast a spell, can move through it freely. Spells and other magical effects can't extend to the dome or be cast through it. The atmosphere inside the space is comfortable and dry, regardless of the weather outside.
Oh,
Um,
it's a heated. It's a heated pool. We don't need the blankets.
until the spell ends, you can command the interior to become dimly lit or dark. The dome is opaque from the outside,
Okay.
of any color you choose, but it is transparent from the inside.
Okay, so what color do you want it to be?
White like the snow.
Okay. So the rest of you see Wilzu kind of make a motion with his hands and then put them out. And then as that happens, just a just very smooth opaque, almost igloo-looking structure appears around him, and he disappears.
Wilzu.
Question. After Wilzu. After Aramel.
Go ahead,
What's your
Ermo.
question?
I found a spell book earlier. I forgot all about it and I gave it to Wilzu. It was from the tiefling we found that was dead.
He had
Yeah, I
that.
had that. I've been
Okay.
learning from that.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was reading notes to see if I had a blanket.
Wilzu.
Yeah, come on in.
Come into what?
Just step forward, you dingus.
Oh, like,
Yep, and your hand goes right through it.
is my hand warm? I guess my hand's warm
Yeah,
when
it
I
Feels warm when you do that.
I'll just like go into it.
Yep, and you see Aramel just disappear into this white, opaque igloo.
I'm like, what? I'm gonna like, no, and I'm gonna run. Like, right into it.
Wilzu and Aramel, make a dexterity saving throw.
You got it.
11.
The dex save. Oh man. Goes to 11.
11. Both of you just barely manage to kind of dash, dodge out of the way as Sandy just comes stomping through, and you stop about 3/4 of the way through and kind of look around.
Oh,
It's actually kind of nice in here. It's very temperate.
Good God, Sandy, you didn't have to stomp in.
well, I mean, you disappeared and then Aramel disappeared. I was just.
How long do we have this?
This is now our mobile shelter anywhere we go. And it lasts about 8 hours.
How often can you do this?
If you give me 10 minutes, as much as we want.
Oh,
Wow. Well, this is great.
so we could sell these tents.
Yes. We could sell these tents, and we could carry more rations. Well, this is fantastic. Sin, are you in here? Are you in the?
I
Are you in
would've
the
tried to
dome?
get in, yeah.
Yeah.
So Sin just kind of casually walks inside.
No
the
big
hut,
deal.
just
This
kinda
is
looks in.
amazing.
What's the lighting like in here?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have it like pleasantly dim.
Okay.
Like,
Is it like you got the Philips Hue lights in there? Is it
Yeah.
nice and blue?
yeah. pleasant,
There's some
pleasant
track
peaceful
lighting.
sleeping. Like it makes you sleepy just by being in there lighting.
Okay.
So, can people see this?
Nope. It looks like whatever color I want on the outside, which, given the white terrain, I chose white, so we don't
I
get questions.
kind of saw it. I guess Can anyone just come in here?
No, only the people around me, which was you guys.
And that's it.
That's it. We could fit about. I'll look around at the walls.
Maybe
We
us.
kind of suck, but we could fit like 9 people in here.
So do the other people just walk into it like it's the side of a building?
Yeah. What happens if someone runs into it?
They can't. I don't think they could penetrate it. I think they just run into a wall.
They bounce around it.
Yeah, because this is like a barrier of force that nothing can enter, but we can go through freely.
Huh.
Could somebody use magic to get rid of this?
Yes, they could dispel it. But if there's just a wizard wandering around that would do that, I mean, that's.
Just kill him.
I'm not going to set up camp. I don't know if it's that easy, Sandy, but. I mean, if I was just wandering around, I'm not going to set up the hut in a castle, or something, or in a lair. Well, maybe in the future, but nowhere where we think it'd be wizards.
Just asking questions.
And you can see people actually kind of making their way around, meandering outside, just looking through this mostly transparent dome that you've made, and they're just paying absolutely no mind to it whatsoever. It just looks like another mound of snow.
Fascinating.
Perfect. I was hoping this would work this way, and it's exactly what I expected.
Do you have to stay awake for this to work?
Nope. I don't even have to concentrate. Just last 8 hours. Here it is now. We can just leave, and there it is.
Huh.
But isn't this awesome? Oh,
This
no, a
is.
blizzard. What do we do? Hut. Now we're safe.
I love it.
We turned down the difficulty a little bit.
Yes.
Indeed. Survival
Could-
becoming easy. As long as I have magic and can cast.
I do have something that can help us too. Now I did not prepare it today, but if we are in a pickle, as you speak of, I can create food or water now.
We don't have to go anywhere. We just have food, water, and shelter. Just
Done.
Now, what kind of food can you make?
yeah.
It's very basic. Nothing fancy.
We
And
do you
how
have
much?
prestidigitation?
You know, I could learn it for the day, make it taste better.
See, she can make the food. I can spice it up. She can learn to spice it up. We're good. We could just.
How
We
much?
win.
How much food can you make?
It is enough for. I mean, it's a lot, honestly. Very wasteful, truly.
Isn't this the bland big meals that we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the
Oh, the big breakfast,
the
yeah, the big
McDonald's
breakfast.
big breakfast without any kind of salt or flavoring.
It's just gray. It's like gray food.
It's great food.
I mean, she can make it look like,
It's
chicken
45 pounds.
roast. Oh my
Food
god.
a day.
We feast from now on.
45 pounds of food and 30 gallons of water.
What? Does the water just
It
appear?
is enough to sustain up to 15 people or 5 horses or some sort of creature. It is bland but nourishing.
Well, we can fix that. We can make it nice bland.
Do we eat it once or all day or how does it work?
You tell me. It's just after 24 hours.
You tell
If
us.
we
You're
don't
the-
eat, then it goes bad. So,
So
yeah.
the food lasts 24 hours.
How long do we have to eat? Is it like breakfast, lunch, dinner?
Yeah.
Once a day?
Yeah, we would just eat it over 3 times over 24 hours.
Exactly. You get the breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Don't need food. Don't need water. Don't need shelter.
But I don't have it prepared right now, so
Oh.
everyone keep one
we
ration
should
until
keep
we
the
run
ration.
out.
None.
You give us some time, we'll learn how to create money. We'll be real good.
I can
you-
already do that. I sell fake potions, get money.
I think he means turn silver to gold or copper to silver.
Yeah, that type of stuff. Or maybe
Man.
like rocks to gold. You know what I mean?
And I was bad for wanting to kill a town. Wanting to scam 'em.
All right, well,
I feel like that would cause inflation and destabilize the.
So it's definitely later in the evening at this point. The aurora green is the most illuminated that it's been probably since you've been here. The sky is completely clear right now. So as dark as it is, you do have that slight glow kind of shining down on you. Inside the hut, being that it's late at night, are we wanting to rest for the evening?
yeah, I'm just ready to rest.
Yes. I'll sleep my 4 hours and then I'll just hang out, read a book, make
Okay.
sure nobody messes with us.
Okay. Well, in that case, that's where we're going to go ahead and call it for the night. You guys finally figured out the cauldron situation.
Yeah, we kind of just let it go.
It could have gone about 5 different ways.
We chose the easy way out. We're done with it. You cool? We're cool. We're good.
Yeah. Here's some hush money.
Who
Yeah.
knows? Who knows what kind of complications that could have down the road? Who knows?
Civil War.
Yeah, we're out of it. We don't choose a side in that case.
I don't know what cauldron you're even speaking of.
Yeah.
Wait, Targos has the cauldron?
Who has what cauldron?
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean,
Can we say before
assume
we
know.
end though that we divvied up the 400?
Oh yeah, I would have divvied it.
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Okay.
100 each.
Yeah, let's do that. Good call.
100 gold each. Not as
Yeah.
much as originally thought, but hey,
Look, I'm just happy I got something.
Hey,
Yeah,
it's
something.
100 in real.
I can stop hearing about it now.
Wait, keep in mind if we want to
Every
donate.
week. Every week. This one.
Where is my cauldron?
Where is the cauldron money?
If we want to donate to the Wills Who Get Spells, fund, by all means, it's 50 a pop. Okay, just letting y'all know. Just putting it out there.
So I want to
That's 2 spells.
I want to put this out here. I want to put it on the stream because I built this goddamn city center and we didn't get to use it.
If we were gonna
And I
get
feel
violent.
like if I don't at least put it on stream, it's all for nothing.
Pull it out. Let's see.
So,
we could have fought in the city.
you could
Hell
have.
yeah, we could
You
have.
even bought a fancy new lens for it.
I got a new
today.
lens on the camera. So this was your potential.
How?
And this is also for Lord Gosumba because I know he likes miniatures and terrain.
Can we ask how we would have got there? Or is that a spoiler?
To that fight,
Yeah, or is that a future spoiler?
we could just demanded the guard let us see him. And he's like, no. It's like we're seeing him, and then he
Well,
would have
like,
attacked.
is there more of like, is there like a certain thing of events we could have done?
I mean, it would have been more of like
could we have ticked off the speaker enough to?
Yeah.
Besides, like, F you and, like, draw weapons.
Walking in front of the cameras. Jamie, can I get your help over here on this side? It's heavy. You got it?
Wow.
Got it. Alright, and
Damn.
lowering.
How many guard would we have had to fight?
I think it was, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus Nerith and whoever else.
Ooh, swap the cams. Put it
I'm
on.
gonna swap the cams.
And Scath.
This thing looks amazing.
So
Well.
here we go. Full screen there. Bam.
No. Well, that's awesome.
I put this together just in case the fight broke out there. And we ended up not getting able to use it. But now we got the ultra wide. We got the ultra wide lens now, so we can actually build these big things and have them on stream, and we don't have to move the camera around. Yeah, terrain. I know you're the terrain guy, Gosumba.
If I was a different gnome, this may have been the beginning of establishing a home base for us. We would have probably fought here, and then that would have been our town now, and we would have gone from there.
You would have had your guys.
Wow.
All kind
Man.
of in here, and then who knows what would have happened.
Decapitation.
Yeah, we would have gone in.
I'm glad we didn't fight
We
the
had to.
guard. I don't think I would have.
We talked it all out. We waited. We talked to him. We heard his offer, and it was something decent, so we took it. Now,
Thankfully.
isn't that much more awesome than having to think about how many people we've had to murder? And
Yes.
So yeah, I wanted to at least put this on stream because it took a hot minute to get to put this thing together.
No.
I think there was an episode of Critical Role where somebody said one of the saddest things they saw was anytime that Matt Mercer would walk away with a map or like a pre-built like battle arena that he had to just depressingly walk out of the studio with that he didn't get to use that he spent hours building. So but this is the one we put it on Reddit and everything. So I had to show it off a little bit. I felt proud of this one. Thank you, Cannibal. But yeah, so we're wrapping up for the evening tonight here. We will be off for the next couple of Saturdays, just due to 4th of July, and then me and Kira will be out of town the following Saturday. But our Monday adventure, Descent into Avernus, which Wilzu is our DM for that.
yes,
That's still going to be rocking and rolling. So, guys, thank you so much for all the support tonight. The past few weeks have been awesome. We hit our Nitro Bear goal, which means
Yay.
when we come back after our 2-week hiatus, at the conclusion of that episode, you'll be eating
At the
Nitro
conclusion?
Bear.
At least
Yeah.
it's at the conclusion.
Yeah, I'm not going to put you through.
So there-
That would be
beginning would
suffering.
ruin them.
That would
I
ruin
probably
it.
have the
Suffer,
hiccups
yeah.
the whole night.
Ugh.
So make sure to check us out there. Anybody have anything before we wrap it up this evening?
Nah, be back for Monday.
Yep.
Avernus.
All right. Yep. Avernus, Monday at 8 Central right here. Again, thank you all so much. Whiskey, huge shout out for all the gifted subs. Holy shit.
did a lot,
You must either really love us or hate Sandy. Maybe a little bit of both.
Oh, I see how it is.
But we're out of here. We'll see you Monday. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great weekend. And since we won't see you before, have a happy 4th of July.
Bye-bye, y'all.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.